talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. Mo Salah's trained with Liverpool this afternoon as normal. Big smile on his face before Liverpool's trip to Inter tomorrow, which is live on talkSPORT. No histrionics, no moans. All his teammates seem to be embracing him as normal. So maybe those comments will come to naught. Simon Jordan's convinced otherwise.
The best thing Liverpool can do is get rid while there's still some money attached to him. Because ultimately, it's similar to the Ronaldo situation where we engineered an outcome, but the Ronaldo tribute act that passed as a player that turned up at Man United is not the same as Salah. There's still some economic value in Salah. So if I'm Liverpool, I'm looking at it as going, OK, we are where we are. Let's sell him.
The sense is that he's unlikely to play in red again before AFCON if Arne Slot decides to wield his influence. And for fans calling for the manager to go rather than Salah, a message from Graham Souness.
I look at the 3 goals he conceded against Leeds, all avoidable. They're not, they're not defensive situations like their life depends on it.
Now a 6-month suspended jail sentence for Joey Barton today over those grossly offensive tweets posted about female football pundits Eni Aluko and Lucy Ward, as well as Jeremy Vine. If the ex-England cap re-offends in the next 18 months, he'll be behind bars. Sheffield Wednesday fans must wait to discover who'll be taking the club over. Administrators have delayed announcing a preferred bidder, with a number of interested parties yet to submit their final offer. And as Lando Norris got a debt to pay to his older brother for his F1 world title. He was karting from the age of 7, a year before you're allowed to race in the sport. His coach all that time ago, Rob Dodds, joined talkSPORT earlier.
I also looked after his older brother, Oliver, who was a couple of years older, so there was a bit of a sibling rivalry, if you like. So by the time Lando was ready to race at 8 years age, he was on the pace straight away.
Loads more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Tories want the grooming gang inquiry to examine ethnicity, and former Radio 1 DJ Tim Westwood has pleaded not guilty to rape and sexual assault charges. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. For a limited time only, get 15% off a set of 4 selected premium tyres. Don't miss out and book today at quickfit.com and drive away happy every time. Conditions apply.
Showers in Northern Ireland and Scotland drying up. Sunny spells in the north of England and Wales. Cloudier and wet at times elsewhere.
So, we are almost ready to go. Ian Dancer here in the commentary box. But it is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! And this is Paul Hawksbee, and in for Andy this afternoon, Perry Groves alongside me. We're with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon Danny Kelly will join us as always to go game by game through the Premier League weekend. Liverpool fan, journalist and author Tony Evans gives us his take on Mo Salah's future, and former England bowler Darren Goff is with us in the studio for all the fallout from another disappointing Ashes defeat. Darts legend Russ Bray will also be popping in, head of the World Championship, and to discuss calling our talkSPORT darts tournament on Wednesday, and season F1 watcher James Allen on Lando Norris's first Drivers' Championship. We'll also head around Europe with Andy Brassel, and we'll look ahead to talkSPORT's commentary game this evening between Wolves and Manchester United, where I think it's fair to say Perry doesn't have particularly high hopes of a home win. That's probably along with most of the Wolves fans. But anyway, we shall see, and we'll come back to that later on. It is 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, Perry. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Perry, should I say.
Good afternoon, Paul. I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, it's normally when we work together, it's off the back of a Spurs defeat and Arsenal win. So this is quite rare. Which I'm not saying I'm not complaining. I say I actually walked into the Spurs stadium. Got to the top of the stairs where I sit, more or less to see the monitor, just to see the Buendia goal. The place went up. It was almost like we'd scored half an hour before kickoff.
So all looking at Joe thinking, I didn't think Saturday could get any better.
Well, when we
just taken on to another level.
When we finally won a game, it was I saw a bit of it before I set off for the ground, and I watched a bit on the train and stuff. And it was a cracking match, a real ding dong do. And then I listened to the closing stages, walking up to our team, bringing you the match. And there was a little period, wasn't it? Sort of 60, 70 minutes, you would have said Arsenal were now on to get it after they equalised. And then Villa came on strong at the end. And I was listening and thinking, draw sounds like a fair result.
Do you know what? I think, as you said there, for the neutral, it was like a brilliant game to watch. And it's credit to both managers, also Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta, that when it went to 1-1 and we were in the ascendancy when Trossard scored, both managers went to win the game.
Yeah.
They didn't actually think, you know what, Arteta could have thought this is a decent point away from home against Villa. He thought, no, if you want to win titles, you've got to try and win them. And that leaves you a little bit more open. And then obviously there was the mayhem from like the 90th minute onwards where Villa are on top, and then they get like the scramble when Dia finishes it. And I suppose, obviously I've got a dog in the fight. A draw would have been a fair result, and you couldn't have moaned either way.
No.
Like Villa winning it, or if we'd have won it. Do you know what I mean? So I know there's going to be a lot of noise. You know, Man City have closed the gap to 2 points.
Well, where do you think that leaves Villa? Having looked at Villa in data, and you've watched them a fair bit this season, you've been working for us at games. I mean, do you see them as a threat? You think they can sustain a challenge then?
It all depends what they do in the January transfer window, because I think their squad is a little bit light, obviously, when you're having to go on weekends in the Premier League, then you're playing in Europe, then you're playing in Premier League again. And if you look back to last January's transfer window, they had a brilliant one because they brought in Marcus Rashford, didn't they, on loan, Asensio coming home, Marlon came in, and that enabled them to kick on. So quite rightly, you know, Emery will be looking at the owners. I know they're struggling with the PSR rules and, you know, what they can go and spend.
Yeah.
But he knows, I think he probably needs 3 players at least. And I'm not talking about 3 squad players. I'm talking about 3 players that are ready to go in the first team and put those players in the first 11 under pressure.
Yeah.
If they're going to kick on.
We're going to go back to that game. Danny Kelly's going to join us. We're going to go game by game through the Premier League weekend. Of course, we'll go into that game in a bit more detail. The big story, really, of the weekend has been that Mo Salah interview. We were both watching it back, weren't we, and feeling for the Liverpool press officer, who at that moment when he says, you can just see him in the background at the moment when Mo Salah says, I feel like the club have thrown me under the bus. It's real thick of it country, because you can see him wince and immediately go for his phone, probably saying to his boss, saying, this is bad. Mo's gone postal on us.
It's not just seeing him wince. You could actually eye read, because his eyes, you know, the exact words that have gone into his head. And obviously and lots of expletives. And he's thinking... He
just has a lot of mopping up to do.
I think it got lost in translation. I think he's been misinterpreted.
Well, we're going to have a chat with Tony Evans, the Liverpool fan and author and podcaster, and just get his take. Normally a very level-headed soul. So we'll get his take on what went on and where Mo Salah's at. On the face of it, it did look a bit like a kind of waning talent whose ego couldn't take the fact that maybe he's not going to be starting games anymore. I mean, it's happened quite quickly, isn't it, really? He was player of the season across the board last year. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but your legs can go all of a sudden. And the reason that this was completely premeditated is that he has a sense of entitlement where he thinks because he's Mo Salah and what he's done before, he deserves to be in Liverpool's starting 11. And the reason that he's only just been dropped, he's just missed the last 3 games, is because he's Mo Salah. Is because if it was any other player who was just a normal Liverpool player, they'd have been dropped probably 6 or 7 games ago.
Yeah.
And these managers will tell you that they treat players the same. They don't. You're treated on a different scale. So if you're like a superstar like Mo Salah, you're allowed probably 2, 3, 4 bad games before the manager even thinks about dropping you.
Yeah.
If you're someone like Curtis Jones and you have 1 dodgy game, then you're going to be...
You said, I mean, you were very honest to me earlier on. You said that's kind of where you were
Absolutely.
There's certain players that, as you said, there'd be certain players in the Arsenal team you played in, they could have 4 bad games, but by reputation they stayed. But often if you had a bad game, George would stick you on the bench.
Yeah, well, if I had a bad half or a bad game, being an average player in the Arsenal hierarchy, then I knew I'd be dropped. Yeah. But if you're someone like Paul Merson, like Mercer's my best mate, he knew he could probably have 2.5, 3 dodgy games before, again, George Graham even thought about dropping him. So there is different levels and there's different hierarchy. But you have no divine right to be in Liverpool starting 11.
That was the surprise that he said that, and really, wasn't it? I mean,
ego. Yeah. Everybody says, obviously, that...
I mean, can you be that good and not have an ego? Really?
Well, the thing is, we get, everybody knows that Cristiano Ronaldo's got, like, a massive ego because he's just out there. And it's always purported that Mo Salah is one of those ones who's, very humble, very down-to-earth. That interview, and the thing that amazed me about the interview was... It was premeditated. He knew exactly what he was going to say because he very rarely stops when he goes through the media zone anyway. But he had like smile. He wasn't like he was angry or he was raging. He had like a smirk or a smile on his face and a glint in his eyes, as if to say, I know exactly what this is going to cause now. Yeah. And the ramifications this is going to have. And he's talking about throwing people under the bus, being thrown on the bus. It's him who's thrown the Liverpool hierarchy under the bus, Arne Slot under the bus, even his teammates as well, because he's come out and said something that he didn't need to say. So it's just that sense of entitlement, which I've got no time for. And it doesn't surprise me that we said that he's not going to be travelling to the Inter Milan game, because you don't want him anywhere near the football side of it and anywhere near the squad now, because it's going to be massive news and everything about it is negative. There's not one positive thing that can come out.
From Arne Slot's point of view, he was, he needed to get that result the other day. And if he felt that bringing Mo Salah, he's not going to cut off his nose to spite his face. If he felt that bringing Mo Salah into that off the bench against Leeds at the weekend was going to win them the game, he would have done that.
When you're in that sort of form, though, Paul, when your team's struggling, you've obviously seen Spurs struggle, I've seen Arsenal struggle. You can't carry players that don't do the work defensively. No. And with Mo Salah's not lazier than what he was.
But the structure of the team last year allowed him to do that. The structure now doesn't allow him.
I'm not sure it's just about structure.
Szoboszlai does get up and down, whereas Mo's very up front. He didn't do the defensive work, but he had other players to do that.
Yeah, but it was Mo Salah's numbers.
Sure.
Because what happens is, if you're not tracking back and you're a bit lazy and resting, but last season 29 Premier League goals and 18 assists, and he got Liverpool out of games where Liverpool weren't playing very well. And all of a sudden, he would do something brilliant where he cuts in from the right, bends it with his left foot, or he creates a goal. So therefore, what happens when your team's playing well, you can carry Mo Salah defensively because you know he's going to get you out of trouble. When that sort of player doesn't then produce those brilliant moments of brilliance to get you out of trouble, then you're thinking, right, we need players now that are going to do the job defensively and they get back and protect the fullback, or, it's like go and close down. So it's his stats and all of his figures is the reason that he's been dropped. But he was never, ever going to get anywhere near the 29 goals and 8. No. Last season's stats were off the scale, completely off the scale. If he'd have had half the season of last season, it would still been good numbers.
This was a team structured to make him shine, wasn't it? It was basic. I mean, the way they set the team up and the kind of the personnel they would have had at that time, and many of which have moved on, and we lost one in tragic circumstances. It's different now, isn't it? It's a different structure, newer players, and he's been a bit of a victim of that. We're going to have a chat with Tony Evans in a minute, because Tony is a Liverpool fan, an author, and journalist, a long-standing, normally pretty level-headed. So we'll get his... it was interesting, some of the calls to Jeff and to Ali today on breakfast, where, there was a lot of people feeling that he was wrong to do it, but there was quite a few saying, he is kind of almost bigger than the club.
No, he's not. I'm really sorry.
This is the thing. If you're Arne Slot, if you're the hierarchy at Liverpool, if you're given the choice of building something new under a manager who won the title in his first season, he's going for a thing, but you've invested a lot of time, money and effort into making it work for him, against effectively, a 33-year-old whose maybe talent is waning a little bit. So who are you going to side with? If the idea was to throw the manager under the bus, I don't think that's worked. But it was interesting what Tony...
Even you're getting angry. You're not even a Liverpool fan. It's outrageous what Salah said.
Hear what Tony thinks.
Did you take him at Spurs?
Well, we were talking about this. We were chatting. Where's his likely destinations? The San Diego have got a rich Egyptian owner that would obviously love him to go there. But there's all this talk about the Saudi Pro League, and that seems the most likely. But who knows? It's difficult.
Do you think there's a bit of Arne Slot? Obviously, you don't want this negativity and this being a big story, but if he was thinking of easing players like Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk out, all of a sudden Mo Salah's just giving him the perfect reason and situation where he might be thinking, you know what, mate, you've done this for me.
You've done him a favour.
Yeah, because if you was Arne Slot now, no matter what the hierarchy say and the owners say, for him to exert his authority and power, basically you say to Mo Salah, I'm not even going to talk about what you said now.
Yeah.
You can go away to AFCON now. You can go like 10 days, 2 weeks early, and I'll see you when you come back. That's it. You don't want him anywhere around this group of players now, because you want to have everything that's got to be positive, it's got to be upbeat.
Yeah.
With Mo Salah around, there's going to be none of that.
We'll get the thoughts of Tony Evans next. Our friend Tancredi Palmieri, the Italian journalist, was tweeting earlier on. He said Liverpool have cancelled all interviews with TV. He's going to talk to the press just before 7 o'clock in Milan, ahead of that game tomorrow. So, yeah, all interviews with TV cancelled, leaving only a presser with Slot and Allison. Tank says, my take is they'll make the declaration at the beginning of the press conference that the Salah situation is off limits. And
and all the press are going to adhere to that, aren't they?
Well, they're going to try, but you know, that's never a good look, isn't it? I think it doesn't strike me as Slot's the kind of guy that won't take it on. We'll see. We'll be chatting to Tony Evans next. Danny Kelly, game by game. He'll have his 2 penneth on it, I'm sure, as well. The great Darren Goff joins us in the studio. I'm guessing, look at some of his tweets after that second Ashes defeat, off his long run. Goffy will take your question. You've got any questions on the Ashes so far? Put them into us a little bit later on. We'll give you all the details. But Goffy will be here for a long debrief. James Allen on the F1 after Lando Norris won his first title at the weekend. We'll talk a bit of Wolves. And Dazzling Dave from the Always Wolves Fan TV will join us to tell us whether he's seen the green shoots in Rob Edwards' early days at the club. They're live on talkSPORT tonight against Manchester United. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
So, we are almost ready to go. Ian Dancer here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves with you through until 4 o'clock again, game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly. Still one game to go live on talkSPORT tonight. Of course, Wolves v Manchester United, and we'll preview that towards the end of the show. But the big story really of the weekend, and Andrew McKenna's made a very good point. The England cricketers must love Mo Salah today, having taken them off all of the back pages.
He's gone completely.
But we won't obviously ignore that because Goffy's with us later on. But first, yes, let's talk Liverpool and Mo Salah's pretty incendiary chat to the press after the 3-3 draw at Leeds, where he never got onto the pitch. I feel the team have thrown me under the bus. He said he's got no relationship with the manager. We've been having our two penneth. Everybody has, really. But let's get a seasoned Liverpool fan, author and journalist take on it. Tony Evans joins us. Hi, Tony.
Hiya, Paul. Hiya, Perry.
Hello, Tom.
What were your first thoughts then when all this unfolded and you heard what he'd said?
Well, I thought Canate had paid him to do his own.
He's another one who's off the back pages. That's true.
Yeah. You know, it's never mind the England team. You know that certainly took the spotlight away from Canate. But no, it was a real surprise. Look, it's been obvious that he's been unhappy for a while. He's been sulking a bit. I think that's clear. He's gone from being the main man in the team, the superstar, to at least third on the pecking order, because, you know, when you buy two British record transfer, when you pay two British record transfer fees over a summer, they're going to, you know, get the majority of the publicity and the attention. And, of course, he's been out of form. You know, never mind the track and back. If he scores, half of the chances that he's been given, and he hasn't had that many chances, no one's worrying. He's in the first team. But, you know, it's, people are going to say, oh, you know, he deserves better, you know, he's a Liverpool legend, and he is. But the reality is, if you're not performing, you ain't going to be in the team.
It's that, Tony, what you said there, it's that simple. Because if he'd have been scoring the goals and the assists that he had last season, no one says about tracking back. No one says about, you know, you being lazy off the ball. And if Liverpool were winning games, that doesn't get highlighted either. And I don't know, what's the perception of the majority of Liverpool fans? Because I just thought it come across as a massive sense of entitlement of, because of what you've done in the past, therefore you should be in the starting 11 with no questions asked.
Yeah, I think he phrased that badly. I think,
lost in translation.
His English is a second language, and I think if he had the chance to say it again, he might say it differently. And, you know, and he said it with such a smile on his face as well, which was which was remarkable. I mean, it is that simple in many ways, Perry, but there are also other undercurrents there. I mean, for example, the analytics department, the recruitment department, there is a strong belief there that players in the mid-30s, when they actually go into decline, they drop off a cliff. So if Trent Alexander-Arnold would have signed an extension to his contract, I firmly believe that Salah would have been released. They would have let him go. So it was an improper PR move. Also, I think if they would have been absolutely convinced that they were going to sign Isak by the end of the window, again, they might have let him go. The truth is, the future is Wirtz and Isak, and Salah, as great as he is the past. And I think he's walked into almost a trap. You know, if Liverpool did want to drop his wages and they did want him to move on, he's given them the opportunity, hasn't he?
Do you see any way back? I mean, how do you feel about that? I'm sure if he popped up in a Liverpool shirt and came on as a sub or started a game, whatever, he'd get a brilliant reception from the fans. I don't see him booing him or turning on him after this. But in terms of where this leaves Arne Slot and the perception from this, because, you know, as we said, he has undermined the manager. He says he has no relationship with him. He doesn't know what's gone wrong. So it's an awkward situation, isn't it?
It is. And you know what will have emboldens him to say this is that he won't be the only one in the dressing room who's not having the manager at the moment. And as you know, that's not that unusual. When you're not doing as well as you think you should be doing, everyone in the dressing room looks fingers to point at. And, you know, I'll go back to 2017 when, you know, the senior figures in the dressing room were saying that Klopp didn't have it. They didn't believe in him. So that's always going to happen. So, but, you know, things will change. The club can't afford to let the player win in a battle with the manager. At the moment, I can't see a way back. On the other hand, you know, he's off to AFCON in the middle of next week, and a month or so is a long time in football, and things can change. There is, you know, it would surprise me at this moment to see him play for Liverpool again, and saying things like, you know, the family are coming to the game next week, and you're a bit like, well, are they going to watch you sit on the bench?
Yeah.
You know, it's get splinters in your backside. It's you know, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility to see him playing for Liverpool again. And I think every Liverpool fan, no matter how they feel about this, would love to see Mo Salah in a red shirt, scoring goals again, and leading the team to a better position in the league than they are at the moment.
Tony, thanks ever so much. We'll catch up with you soon.
My pleasure.
Tony Evans there, Liverpool fan, author and journalist on Mo Salah. The latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast is out now. Majestic and former Premier League manager Alan Pardew reviewed all the weekend's action, including Mo Salah's claims he'd been thrown under the bus at Liverpool. If you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily is available on all podcast platforms now. There will be a press conference with Arne Slot and Alisson tonight, and I'm sure the journalists will attempt to get a line on it, but from what Tancredi Palmieri says, he's expecting him to shut it down, but we'll see. It will from 7 o'clock as we build up to Wolves Manchester United. Sure, Adrian Durham will be keeping a very close eye on that, and Danny Murphy is alongside Joe Shannon, so you got a Liverpool man there to react to those comments in that press conference ahead of the Inter game, which is live on talkSPORT tomorrow evening. So we're going to go game by game ourselves through the Premier League weekend, and we'll kick off with Fulham Palace, a game that Perry was at yesterday. So Danny Kelly joining us for that after the news headlines.
Former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan says there's an easy solution to the Salah situation. Liverpool should sell him.
It's simple. You know, you're going to turn the wheel. He's going to go at any point in the near future, whether it's in January or the summer, he's gone. Right, so what you're doing is you're treading water with this player.
We understand Arne Slot has the board's full backing after Salah claimed they have no relationship left. Despite Liverpool's poor run, Graham Souness says fans should be right behind Slot as well.
I heard a couple of muppets on talking about them sacking the manager, and they don't know what they're on about.
Inter versus Liverpool is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night, and Salah might not even make the trip. Lando Norris has thanked McLaren for making a kid's dream come true after winning Formula One's World Championship. He became the first driver to lift the trophy since 2020 after finishing third at the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Norris says the title belongs to his parents too.
This is one I get to say thank you, Mum, and thank you, Dad. They're the ones who sacrificed so much to let me be the lucky boy that I am today.
Following another limp Ashes defeat, former England batsman Mark Butcher reckons Josh Tongue could play in Adelaide next week.
But he is somebody that just takes wickets for fun, you know, and you ally that with other bowlers doing their jobs better, and he could be very dangerous. But there isn't a massive amount that England can do to switch things up.
More on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel and the following on podcast feed.
Celebrations like this. Villa have just given the rest of the Premier League an early gift, a proper title race.
Manchester City 3, Sunderland 0, and it's Phil Foden with his 5th goal in 3 games.
Finished at the Vitality, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. And it's Spurs 2, Brentford 0, and Xavi Simons with his first goal for Spurs.
Everton 3, Nottingham Forest 0. It's Keenan Dewsbury Hall.
Fleming looking for his 5th Premier League goal of the season, and he puts it into the back of the net. It's a lifeline for Burnley.
It's incredible. It's Leeds 3, Liverpool 3, 5 minutes into stoppage time. Al Tanaka off the bench has slammed in at the far post, and Aaron Rhodes has gone berserk.
And the goal has been given. The referee points to the spot. Jorginho with the finish. Tactical display here from Nuno and his men. They couldn't quite come away with all 3 points.
And a late sting in the towel in this London derby. It's Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 2. The Palace skipper Mark Gay.
Yeah, so that's how the weekend unfolded on the talkSPORT in the Premier League. Here to go game by game. As always, Danny Kelly. Good afternoon, Dan.
Good afternoon. Hello, Perry. We've got to stop Danny. Like this. Yeah.
I see you more than I see my missus.
Well, that cannot be good, Perry. That cannot be good.
It's for Mrs. Groves, trust me.
Yeah. Well, we're going to kick off where Perry was yesterday, working for talkSPORT. Fulham 1, Palace 2, working our way back through the weekend. Perry, you were there. Well, I mean, we saw a wonderful goal, Harry Wilson goal, didn't we? That was the standout moment in the match, really.
Yeah, I think Harry Wilson was just trying to outdo Adam Wharton with the outside of his left foot.
Yeah.
If you think about Palace's first goal, it's Adam Wharton who plays the ball from the centre circle, the outside of his left foot, out to the left-hand side to Tyreek Mitchell. Then he carries on his run. He plays that little reverse pass where I think he looks like he's going for Pino, and it goes to Nketiah and he scores. So Harry Wilson thinking, no, I can do a lot better than that. What I'm going to do is when the ball's rolled into me, I'm going to flick it with the outside of my left foot into Jimenez. He'll just lay it off, and then I'm going to do the outside of my left foot again and just give Henderson absolutely No chance whatsoever.
I mean, it
was like Barcelona.
And it's in a losing performance. So it's another one of those goals. We've had quite a lot of goals like that recently, including Richarlison against Arsenal, that don't mean a lot in the scheme of things, but in isolation are very impressive. This the Palace. I mean, it didn't count for naught because getting a goal past Palace these days is not easy. Best defensive record behind Arsenal, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get carried away with the hype about the Premier League, but this was an amazingly good weekend. There were great games, really dramatic finishes, fantastic goals being scored by unlikely people, and of course the usual crop of weird refereeing decisions. We saw it here, didn't we? Wilson is becoming—he's not a great goal scorer, but he is the classic scorer of great goals, isn't he?
Yeah.
He really has got that going on. But and of course the other thing that's marking this season is different from every other. I've written about this extensively. Is the plethora of late goals. The 5 substitutes are really starting to wear defenders down now and wear teams down defensively. But the star of all this was Wharton. You're absolutely right, Perry, to pick him out, because it wasn't just the fact he had 2 brilliant, 1 accidental pass in the move for the first Palace goal. He just sailed through the game, and he's really. It seems to me that if Thomas Tuchel can organise him and Declan Rice in the middle of England's midfield, and they really are going places. I know there's lots of candidates, but Wharton looks a class above, doesn't he?
Do you know what, as well, when you watch him play live, he's one of those players that he's always got time.
Yeah.
And if you watch him, he very rarely looks like he's actually sprinting full pelt. He jogs around in the right areas. And even if the game is like bypassing him for about 5 minutes, he doesn't go chasing the game.
No.
He's got this like football intelligence, and you're talking about obviously the World Cup where you're going to have like ridiculous temperatures.
Yeah.
He's the perfect player to have in those temperatures where he thinks, right, I'll just jog about and I'll get it and I'll lend it and I'll look to pass it forward.
That's the mark of sometimes of a really great player, when they're floating above the hurly-burly of the game. You sometimes see them, don't you? Players you think, how is he influencing the game without running around like a maniac? And those are the really good players.
You had Berbatov. When you in Berbatov in his prime.
It's that sort of languid style, isn't it? When
and
you get someone...
it's like they're playing in testimonial games.
Yeah.
You know, when they all go, calm down, I'll play it at my pace.
Yeah. No, it's a real art. Let's take a look then at Brighton 1, West Ham 1 yesterday. The route to handball. I mean, looking at it, I was listening to our guys on the radio talking about it and saying I don't really know what handball is anymore. But it does effectively come off another part of his body and hit his hand. But then we all thought, Danny, that if it then leads to a goal, especially by a player who scores that goal, they might rule it out. So it's complex.
Well, it would have been ruled out if the goalkeeper hadn't saved it.
Yes.
I mean, if the goalkeeper had seen the handball, he'd done better to get out of the way and let it go in, because it would have been disallowed. I mean, look, these are words that don't cross my lips very often. West Ham were really unlucky with all of this, weren't they? It was a madly Nuno performance. An 8-3 lineup, if you include the goalkeeper, where the 3 forwards are completely disconnected from the rest of the team. They worked their bits and pieces off to make sure they made enough chances. Somerville and Paquetá and Bowen, who I thought was fantastic throughout. And it was all working out for them, having got the goal, and another fine finish by Jared Bowen. And then a mixture of the high kick and the handball. There was a million ways in which VAR and the referees could have found a way to disallow that goal. They worked through the tangle and decided it was going to stand. And I thought West Ham were unlucky with that. Not because of the handball, because they got that right within the technicalities of the law, but because the high kick could easily have been given. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
What was his foot there? 7 foot off the ground? I mean, seriously, it was 7 foot off the ground.
Carl Douglas, I thought, might have been doing co-commentary.
That is one for the teenagers, Paul.
I actually thought it should be credit for the actual overhead kick to get that high off the ground, your foot yourself, with your hamstring, especially that late in the game.
You get an extra goal for that.
Exactly, yeah. But it's just interesting with, they talk about, the amount of games you have in the Premier League and, are the players, is it too much taxing on their bodies? If you look at midweek, Brighton played on the Wednesday at home against Aston Villa, right? Even though they obviously got beat 4-3. West Ham played away against Manchester United on the Thursday night at Old Trafford. and West Ham looked like they had more energy. Brighton just looked really flat in the
Yeah.
first half. Brighton and Fabian Hertz said
It didn't
afterwards-
create a chance, was it 70 minutes?
I think Scott Minto was doing the comment. He said it was the 88th minute when they had their first shot
Wow.
on target.
That's a shock.
And so all this narrative about, players a little bit too tight, schedules too much, that just flipped it completely on its head.
All this Salah chat might be worrying West Ham fans. They keep talking about Semenyo, but blimey, Bowen would be perfect for them. I don't want to. I mean, maybe I do want to sell him to him, but there'll come a point where being frightened of your father-in-law isn't enough.
You've got to get past Danny Dyer
There
first.
comes a point where even Mrs. Bowen will be thinking it's Liverpool. So I mean, because he'd be a great fit there. You think?
He's a fantastic player, isn't he? And another example of somebody who comes out of not necessarily the most glamorous academies and just works their way to the very top of the professional game. And you obviously he's got talent, but you have to have dedication and work rate to go with that. He's got everything. I loved watching him play, actually.
Absolutely. Let's move on then.
Goodness.
To the game between Leeds and Liverpool, and we've talked a lot about it. Danny, just very quickly, so we heard from Tony Evans. We've had our say on it. What has been your take on the Mo Salah situation? Where do you stand?
Look, it's really hard to be critical of a player who's achieved as much as he has and given as much to that club, but I thought it was big baby stuff myself. Look, he has not been thrown under the bus. They had to make some changes. The team just isn't playing well. They don't have the necessary cover for the centre-backs, who are both playing way below the level we saw last year. I say all of this, and I repeat, Paul, what I said last week. None of us can know what the effect of the Jota tragedy has had on these individuals as human beings. But there was a great piece by Stan Collymore about the traditions at Liverpool Football Club, that no matter what happens, you keep it within the dressing room. And for Salah to come out, and he never hardly speaks, so it must have been deliberate.
Sure.
He's thrown a hand grenade into what's already a difficult season for them. And I mean, he can't honestly think that he's going to bully Slot into letting him back into the team. And given that he's off to the African Cup of Nations in a couple of weeks' time, it might be a long time before we see him back in the Liverpool team. I'm not saying he'll never play for Liverpool again, but I just thought it was deliberate and babyish myself.
More defensive errors by Liverpool, and I feel for Leeds really, because in all the fallout from Mo Salah, it's got forgotten that they got themselves back into a game and got the draw. I mean, at home they're going to give themselves a chance because it is a fantastic atmosphere there.
They've transformed their season in the last week, because I thought they were free falling into that, who's going to finish just above Wolves slot. Liverpool, again, Leeds did great, but Liverpool are the central character in this. They have the main character energy. And that is that they're like, this season, they're like a great old heavyweight boxer. They still know how to get through the ropes. They know the moves, but their chin is glass now, isn't it? I mean, you see it happen.
Yeah.
Every mistake they make at the back is punished. Konate, I mean, he's an international footballer. He's expecting to win the World Cup in a few months' time with France. What on earth possessed him to slide into that penalty?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Except that their minds are all gone.
Yeah.
I just think with Liverpool going 2-0 up, Gakpo missed a big chance, doesn't he, to go 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And then the game is done and dusted. A decent save from Perry, actually. But I think as well, with Leeds' point of view, I think Daniel Farke, especially at Ellen Road, I think he's changed philosophy. When they got beat 2-0 by Aston Villa, I think he thought, right, we've got to be more aggressive now.
Yeah.
We've got to get ourselves on the front foot. And obviously, the brilliant result, the 3-3 against Liverpool, beating Chelsea 3-1 as well. So getting 4 points out of those 6 games. And there's no better football ground than Ellen Road when it's rocking, when the fans are behind you. And
when Leeds are ahead, that's when it really gets going.
They can feed off that energy. Do you know what I mean? That sort of positivity.
So you're right. I mean, I think that kind of positive energy, I'm hoping we're going to see a bit more of that from Thomas Frank. We'll come on to Tottenham's game later on. But to get on the front foot and entertain your fans, give them some belief, it's huge. And I think, the way he's restructured it with the 2 up top seems to be doing that.
Sometimes it's the pressure that comes on managers. They can, most managers are pretty conservative. They want their team to maintain control and possession. Farke came under such pressure. He probably thought, I mean, I don't know him, but he probably thought, I might as well get sacked for a sheep as a lamb here.
Yeah.
And go for it. And it suits Leeds at home. They're not a team, a club that is suited to trying to control games at Ellen Road. They thrive on the chaos of an attacking performance, and whatever way he's come to the decision, it is the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you always go out Butch and Sundance, but I think we all quite love Rob Edwards Luton for that reason. And of course, they went down, so I didn't know if that's a great example.
And then again,
yeah,
they went deeper and down.
Yes, they did. Tottenham Brentford next. Danny Kelly's with us. Myself and Perry going game by game with him through the Premier League. We're here with Toolstation as always. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
So, we are almost ready to go. Ian Dancer here in the commentary box. And it is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
Three more games to bring you before the sports headlines at 2. Tottenham, Brentford, Newcastle, Burnley, Manchester City, Sunderland. We'll hoover up the rest with Danny Kelly just after the news at 2. But let's kick-off at the Lane, a game I went to, Danny. Much better. I mean, all you ever want is a fan to see your team get on the front foot at home, move the ball quickly, move it progressively, ideally pass it forward. And the basics, really. And they did all of that. Xavi Simons was the standout. He looks like got a bit of his swagger back. Hopefully he'll get a run of games. It was... And Brentford were just off it. I mean, I've seen them play much better than that. They made lots of unforced errors. They were sloppy generally, didn't have a good day, and Tottenham capitalised on it and could have won 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, given Brentford's away form, in a normal circumstance, you could say this was an absolutely workaday, what did you expect, victory for Spurs. Given the terrible run that Spurs have been on at home and their breakdown of communication with the fans, it was actually a very important victory. And there was a moment there where the best players on the pitch for Spurs were Simons and Gray. Bergvall was still on the bench, and in North Germany, Luka Vuskovic was scoring a goal that was being described as like Ibrahimovic, and suddenly you could see some kind of future Spurs team.
And Mikey Moore was scoring a very nice goal for Rangers as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, Simons, I never had any real doubt that he was going to be a good player. You only have to look at the way he was playing in Germany. It's taken a little while to adjust. Interestingly, the manager afterwards praised him for his efforts in training and in the gym. He didn't have to say those last 4 words, but he did. He was implying there was a bit of strength. And Perry, you know, as a professional footballer, when he did the run for his goal, keeping yourself between your shoulder between the ball and the fellow who was Yarmouk was trying to get the ball off him. That takes both skill and strength. It was a brilliant effort, I thought.
What it was, it's like using your body and just knowing full well that you can't let the defender get back and get alongside you. But I actually thought it was when he won it back, Dan, actually.
I think that was anger.
Yeah, he lost the ball in the centre circle, didn't he? And he thought, right, and Thomas Frank would have been, obviously, loved the goal, but he'd been delighted with the reaction to go and win the crash tackle. I think it was Van den Berg that he actually won the ball back off, and then having the confidence. So I thought that Spurs' other players bounced off his energy.
Yeah.
And you're at the game, and you're thinking, goalkeeper, the goal that you get, it gives you that injection of confidence.
Yeah.
Then you start playing a little bit freer.
Yeah, he wanted the ball all the time. He was ringmaster after that. You kind of felt he needed game time to get that, and hopefully I thought your theory was very interesting. You watched the Brentford Arsenal game, and you think Keith Andrews maybe made a bit of he thought he could get something out of Tottenham, and he kind of threw Arsenal away, you think?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He rested Collins, Henderson, Damsgaard and Igor Thiago. And when you're at the game against Brentford, obviously at the Emirates, you look at that, and as an Arsenal fan, you think, he's laughed this one off.
Yeah.
He's actually thought we got more chance of going to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday and getting a win.
Win-win for Arsenal fans, Perry.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, as well, as players, again, we're talking about, their welfare and their time. Players want rhythm. You'd rather play than train.
Yeah.
So it looked like...
It backfired, Perry, because Nathan Collins had his worst game of the season.
Yeah.
And Damsgaard is a shadow away from home of the player that he can be at Griffin Park. So it didn't work out, did it?
It just looked like that, again, with Brentford, they lost that rhythm. They lost that sort of intensity that you need to have. And you're 2 Spurs fans, obviously. You know, when a manager exerting his control over the players... I think that dropping Van der Ven against Newcastle, or they say rested him, I think that should have gone earlier, after they blanked Spence and Van der Ven blanked him when he come off the pitch, Thomas Frank. I think that sends out a message as well.
I think that was a fitness thing. I think he worries about him being in the red zone and getting injuries because he's had lots of muscle injuries. Maybe they felt... I kind of thought, I don't know what you thought about Van der Ven not playing. I thought it was just to give him a night off.
I mean, I hear what Perry's saying, and I don't disagree that he needed to say something stronger than, it was one of those things. Danso has played well enough, and of course he brings that long throw into the team that they are going to rotate. I wouldn't be surprised, for instance, in the Champions League game on Tuesday if Danso plays instead of Romero. Just to give him a rest from booting Brazilians up in the air, which is his hobby.
It certainly is. Let's move on to Newcastle Burnley. And blimey, it nearly happened again to Newcastle. That the 2 boys got in each other's way, didn't they, for the header that would have made it 2-2. And the look on Eddie Howe's face was a picture at the end, wasn't it?
Well, both managers had reason to be upset by the end. Newcastle nearly did throw it away. Scott Parker was able to call it their best performance of the season, and yet they come away with nothing. And that, of course, is worrying in and of itself. Everything that everything can go wrong for Burnley at the moment is going wrong. Everyone talked about the goal by Bruno direct from the corner. It was Ekdal who it was easier to put the ball out for a throw-in than a corner there, but he slightly misguided his header, and it goes out for a corner. You can see on his face, he thought, here we go, because Newcastle are giants, aren't they? So he knew that he'd made a mistake, and the fact that it goes straight in, it's just, as I say, when you're down, everything goes wrong. The real issue, and I know it's not the same Burnley teams, they brought a lot of players in, is they're having to deal with a 180-degree turn. Last season, they conceded so few that anything they got from a game, one goal, and you knew they were winning. Now, they're the worst defensive team in the division. It's a complete change for the club and the manager, and it's, of course, you're coming through that difficult thing of changing divisions. I hear Scott being positive about the team, and they did. You cannot question their work rate and all the rest of it, but you've got to fear for them because so many things are going wrong. And also, the referee, by the way, he got his 10,000 steps, and didn't he? Just going back and forth to the monitor for the whole game.
The thing is with Burnley, it's individual mistakes. Obviously, Kachuk called the handball where his both arms away from his body, and then Lucas Perez getting sent off. Obviously, bringing down Elanga. So Burnley is struggling defending with 10 outfield players on the pitch, let alone with 9. So it's just those individual errors, maybe that little bit of quality they're missing, and they conceded at least twice in the last 9 Premier League away games as well. So you've got to make sure you're difficult to break down.
Your point is exactly well made, because if you think about then the misheader by Ekdal for the corner, the trip on Elanga for the penalty, the unnecessary handball, that's 3 of your 4 defenders have made critical errors, except for Kyle Walker. And you know, no matter how hard everyone else in the team tries, as you rightly say, if you're going to make errors in those positions on the pitch, you're doomed, you know.
I think goalkeepers, if a goalkeeper had done a Rip Van Winkle and woken up, who played 10 years ago, and looked at the way the manhandling that went on Dubravka before the Bruno one goes in, I think they'd be shocked and stunned. I mean, it is we've gone from a situation where you couldn't get anywhere near a keeper and it was wrong. Now where you can just S-house.
All gloves are off, basically.
Yeah, you can just kind of do what you... I mean, just little things. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough to potentially put him off.
Yeah, but I think goalkeeper's got to be stronger.
Yeah.
Because
that's become the stock phrase when we talk about that. But still, isn't there a balance between a bit being non-contact and you being allowed to sort of mess about with them to the point...
You know full well there's always going to be we call it the nuisance now. Every corner, don't they, set piece, you know there's going to be the opposition player's going to be the nuisance in front of the goalkeeper. Yeah. It's up to the goalkeeper not to get involved.
I think there should be a rule where the the goalkeeper's allowed one proper punch in the face on the nuisance. Really? And if they make no, of course not. We'll move on. 03717. Oh, come on, matey. Yes.
Paul, you're having an argument with yourself.
I am. We'll carry on. We'll bring you City Sunderland in the next section, because I don't think we'll be spending a great deal of time on Bournemouth versus Chelsea. No. So that's all to come. Danny Kelly's with us. We'll bring you the sports headlines next. Oh, just to let you know, by the way, boxing-wise, 2 undefeated super middleweights, Diego Pacheco and Kevin Lela Saggio, clash the WBC silver and WBO international titles, eyeing a world title shot. You can watch it live this Saturday, only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Perry will regale us with the tale of what happened when he was designated as the nuisance from corners on the legendary Colt goalkeeper John Burridge. So stick around for that, and we'll hoover up the rest of the games in the Premier League after Toby Gillies with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. Mo Salah will be dropped from the Liverpool squad for tomorrow's trip to Inter, a direct consequence of those comments. We'll hit Arne Slot's version of events in a press conference later, but Simon Jordan reckons it's a symptom of the mega contract Salah was given last season.
If you give players the economic returns that footballers are now getting, you create islands. And these players are now independently wealthy of responsibility and accountability, and they can say these sort of things.
Well, Simon thinks Salah has to be sold now, while there's still value in him. He trained as normal today, and there was a big smile on his face while interactions with teammates looked warm. But Martin Keown says any dressing room will be negatively impacted by the kind of comments Salah made.
When you've got respect for people in the building, you don't come out with this kind of outburst, do you? So obviously there's a total disconnect, there's a total disrespect, and it's things that you just do not say.
Joey Barton faces 6 months behind bars if he reoffends in the next 18 months. The former Man City and Newcastle man was given a suspended sentence for the grossly offensive tweets he posted about Eni Aluko, Lucy Ward and Jeremy Vine. He'll also do 200 hours of unpaid work. The Prime Minister is the latest to heap praise on Lando Norris and his team, branding them all incredible after his maiden F1 title. While McLaren rightly earned the plaudits, his story goes back to karting, which he started at 7. Lando's coach back then, Rob Dodds, told talkSPORT it wasn't fun watching him yesterday.
It was a bit of relief, to be honest with you. You know, as I said, it would be nice to have it all over last week and had this week just to celebrate, but it kept us guessing. But again, it is the World Championship, and that's what it should do. It should go down to the wire.
Loads more reaction on it all at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived at Downing Street to have a so-called unity meeting with European allies. And Kemi Badenoch wants the government's grooming gang inquiry to focus on ethnicity. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got more premium tyres than the number of times you'll hear, "Ooh, it's a bit nippy" this winter. Book today at quickfit.com.
It's going to get drier in Northern Ireland and the north of Scotland, staying a little bit wetter elsewhere.
Paul Hawksbee, Parry Groves here on talkSPORT. Darren Goff will be with us in half an hour, having his say on that second test defeat. All the fallout, really, from what Ben Stokes had to say. Probably the strongest he's gone in on the team. And so we'll get Goffy's take on what he saw and the way forward and any possible changes. Certainly, Ben Stokes seemed to be hinting at it. Andy Brass is going to join us to guide us around Europe, but Danny Kelly's with us. Got 4 games still to come in the Premier League. And I was saying earlier on, open season on goalkeepers. You were the nuisance once when Budgie Burridge, the legend that was in goal, and they said, you go and be a nuisance and get in front of him. So he didn't have a straight punch at you, but what did he do?
He was the Peter Shilton lookalike, wasn't he,
Yeah.
John Burridge? And so there used to be set pieces and corners and throw-ins before they've actually come back on vogue now,
Yeah.
back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I was the nuisance where I used to whip the corners in. So George Graham said, go and stand in front of the goalkeeper and just, get in around him and see if you can, take away his concentration, knock him off, but whatever. And played against Southampton. I went and stood in front of John Burridge, and he just, with his full 6 studs, just went and just trod on my foot, trod on my boot, and it stamped on my foot, right?
Wow.
So in those days you couldn't go down because you don't see you hurt.
Yeah.
But I thought, that's hurt a little bit. And then what happens is you stand another 2-3 yards away from him.
Yeah.
And then after the game, Theo Foley said, "Oh, sorry, Groves, I forgot to tell you about that. That's what he does if you stand too close to him." I was out for 5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there we are,
Yeah.
Martin Dubravka, if you're listening. Next time,
That was before VAR. Do you know what I mean? There was before cameras. So
of course, you could always claim it was an accident.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's move on, Danny, to City versus Sunderland. And
Paul, I can't move on because John Burridge's name reminds me of an after show drink I once had with the great man, where he told a story so off colour that I wouldn't tell it on late night radio, never mind here in the middle of the afternoon. Suffice to say that it ended with the phrase, with John Burridge saying to me, "You know how it is." I said to myself, "John, in for a penny, in for a pound." That's all you need to know about this. It was unbelievable, the thing he told me.
Well, one day, Danny, over a glass, you can try. You probably can't even bring yourself to repeat it. Then.
Didn't you say
I could, but only in say in a public park where nobody would be listening with their phones. It was so bad.
Now, Rabona Gate, of course. Yeah. Turkey's fantastic Rabona. Now, the thing about the Rabona, you kind of know what Pep's saying. Oh, you wouldn't see Messi doing that. He'd just make it look simple. But sometimes you can wrong foot an opponent. How you feel? I don't know any Rabonas you pulled off in your career, Perry.
If I'd have tried that, I'd have done my ACL. There's certain players that you have to know your limitations.
But you can wrong foot an opponent doing that, and maybe you would argue that's exactly what he did. I mean, I think Phil Foden was impressed. That was pretty clear, wasn't it?
I thought afterwards, Guardiola was being ridiculous there, and it reminds you, of course, that he was a very good but plain white bread footballer. Guardiola, he was a water carrier, he was a possession rotator, none of that fancy stuff for him. I know he's kind of telling Ryan Shirky who's in charge and all the rest of it, but if you ask a Manchester City fan if they would prefer Ryan Shirky to do that or not, you know what the answer you're going to get. Foden loved it too.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant, Shirky, on the day. Absolutely brilliant. And it's interesting, isn't it, that City have found a solution now, somewhat, at least at home, to the lack of Rodri. They've now got 4 forwards in Doku, Cherki, Foden and Haaland, all in absolutely amazing form. They're still not the best at the back.
They did have a bit of a wobble, Danny, didn't they? I mean,
Donnarumma made a great save, and Xhaka hit the post. It could have been very different. And we'll see whether this very attacking, flair-filled, no Rabonas, we'll see what happens when they go to the Bernabeu, although they're playing against a Real Madrid side, Andy Brassel will tell you, who currently are stumbling themselves. That's a huge game in the Champions League coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what, with the Rabona thing, right? They scored.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, it's
they
not
scored.
Like,
if you do
not
that,
they went up the other end and Burnley scored.
Like if Foden doesn't score, and then he messes it up, then you can go, you're overplaying.
Yeah.
But it's if you get the assist, that means you've chosen the right pass to play and the right way to do it. So
spot on, Perry.
Also with fans, that's again we talk about the Wilson goal. God, that's what you pay to see. Do you know what I mean? That's what he can do. What you said there, average players, I clue myself at that, wouldn't even dream of trying to do it. And when you see players execute it at the highest level, at that pace, then it's just, even Phil Foden, who could probably do that himself, was like, wow.
Blimey.
It was wow, wasn't it? What have I just seen?
We did talk about Arsenal Villa at the top of the show. I got Perry's take on that, and he gave us his thought on Villa's credentials and everything. But we have been asked by Matt Wolf, please not to mention title contenders. He's a Villa fan. He said it didn't go down well for either Bournemouth or Chelsea. I'll take top 4, please, and a decent run in Europe. But it was a pretty dramatic ending, as we were saying earlier on, Danny. Just get a quick take from you. It's a really cracking game, end-to-end stuff, and both teams tried to win it. One of them did.
Yeah, very quickly then, because you already discussed it. It's not the worst thing in the world occasionally for long unbeaten runs to come to an end, because I think teams start to defend the run rather than the situation. I think the 2 centre-backs being injured at the same time for Arsenal has discombobulated their midfield a bit. And Zubimendi didn't look as good as he has done earlier on. And we have to face the fact, and whether your correspondent likes it or not, Aston Villa are a really good team with really good players and a really good manager. And a former Morgan Rogers in at the moment, wow. I mean, Tuchel, if the World Cup was tomorrow, he's just overwhelmed with possibilities. This is without Cole Palmer being fully fit. England have just got so many options away from that slightly more questionable back 4. A great result for Villa, and I don't think the worst result for Arsenal either. They can pull themselves back into the space now and start doing the basics again for themselves.
Very quickly, Perry.
It's just a big learning curve for Eberechi Eze. You go, oh, by the way, you might lose your runner when you're playing for Crystal Palace, but if you do it for us, you're hooked. You're off at half time.
Yeah.
Because that, obviously, him falling asleep with Matty Cash scoring, then puts you under pressure. But I'm a gooner, Dan, as you obviously know. I'd rather that we lost the game going to try and win it than try and hold it out at 1-1. I think Arteta's learnt where the substitutions he made at half-time with Trossard and Gyökeres coming on.
You could argue that the points he threw away being overly conservative
exactly, too
in the
many
past
draws.
few years cost them the title.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Let's have a look then at Everton 3, Forest 0. And
great fun.
A bit of a shocker, this. Cherno Barry scored, which was great. It's always great when he's become a bit of a cult hero, and he puts a shift in. He just couldn't get the goal in the Premier League, and he managed to do that, and the Evertonians loved it. Again, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, another great performance by him. And as you said, Danny, an embarrassment of riches, really, Thomas Tuchel. It's probably a bit too late for him. I mean, he could play for Ireland, but he has openly said he feels English and wants to try out for England. But looking at the players in his position, that would be very tough at the moment.
Yeah, although if Ireland were to qualify, then the thought of playing in a World Cup might change his mind. I often think, I'm not sure whether Archie Gray is qualified for Scotland. His father certainly played for them. And, you know, there's such a glut of midfield talent in England, maybe people have to look wider. But listen, there's nothing between the teams in most of the Premier League this season. So things like getting off to the start that Forest did, a booking in 30 seconds and an own goal in 2 minutes, that, you know, it's not going to be your day. It was just, everything went for Everton. Dewsbury Hall was, you know, it wasn't a goal scorer at either Leicester or Chelsea. Well, he wasn't even a player at Chelsea. That's 3 and 4. He's playing like Zidane. Then Barry gets his first goal. Everything that could go right for Everton went right. And again, it shouldn't happen with squads of 17 or 18, 25 players, all the rest of it. But we do know that if the wrong players are out, look at Arsenal with the centre-backs, and Murillo is such a loss to Nottingham Forest. Their stability was disturbed by him not being there. David Moyes, it's hard not to smile when he comes on now and tries to play down what he's done at Everton so far.
Absolutely.
I think with Cherno Barry I've seen the games before he didn't score, but the Everton fans and the other Everton players knew what he was doing for the good of the team, where he was doing all the hard stuff, closing down, tracking back. And for him to score, he got a standing ovation coming off. And that was like everybody was pleased for him, not just as the footballer, but as the person.
We are simple souls, really, football fans. People forget.
Run about.
I mean, well, just work hard and try and play for the shirt. It's very, very simple things that get fans. Remember Paul Walsh, with respect at Tottenham, probably wasn't the greatest player, but he was wholehearted and he worked hard and he went into tackles and he won the ball and he ran a lot and he looked like he cared. And I just think sometimes that's all you ever want as a fan, Danny.
Well, because, Paul, we know that we could go out on the pitch and, well, not with my knees, run around now. So we know that that's the basics. After that, you can apply all that carefully coached and God-given skill and highly paid skill. But if you don't run around, this is why Harry Redknapp, famously,
Pavlyuchenko.
Run around a bit.
Run around a bit.
Because that is the absolute basics, and fans respond to it because they know that they could do that part of it. So let's get that done.
Yeah.
And after that, you can show us what
something
you are as a
to build
footballer.
on. We can build layers, as Thomas Frank would say. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, an absolute dog with fleas by all accounts. I was listening to the boys' reports and not a classic.
Well, the indication, Paul, was I try and watch as many of these games as I can live. But you can't watch them all, obviously.
Yeah.
So I turned to a report before I watched the highlights. And when Liam Delap's shoulder injury is the lead sentence in the support, in the report, you think, OK, so no actual football played here, no?
No, you do feel for him, really. That is a great show. Again, he's trying to work his way into England and possibly getting the set up, but that's really setting back. Cole Palmer lasted an hour. He's still work in progress. The Evan Nielsen miss, but it wasn't an easy chance. You've seen it, Perry. I mean, it's flashing across. It's not like it wasn't a sitter,
no,
was it?
No, it's not a sitter, and you've got to be there. I think with Bournemouth, they were brilliant at the start of the season. Semenyo was absolutely on fire. And he's just dropped off from the high standards that he had. He had no goal
involvement.
involvement.
His head's been turned, as you say. We use that phrase.
Well,
we reach that point?
The only thing only Bournemouth fans will know what his attitude's been like and what he's been put. I don't think it's through lack of effort. I just think that sometimes you have a little bit of a purple patch, which he did, and he's just dropped off a little bit. So Bournemouth looking for other inspirational players then to take that mantle, and that's where they've dropped off. With Chelsea, they just kept giving the ball away, didn't they?
We got to go. Thank you. We'll catch up with you next week, Danny. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Perry. Cheers, Paul. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers,
Bye.
Danny Kelly going game by game, where his partner in crime on Trans Europe Express, Andy Brassel, joins us next to look at the big stories from around Europe. Real Madrid beaten at the weekend. One of the stories we'll be touching on. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Toolstation.
almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. And it is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
Anybody else think that doesn't sound like cork-popping build-up?
I heard you the first time.
Oh, hang on. Of course not. Anyway, let's move on. Let's look around Europe. Marca reporting today that if Manchester City were to beat Real Madrid on Wednesday in the Champions League, Xabi Alonso is done for. Andy Brassel joins us now, European football expert. Hi, Andy.
Hello. It was one heck of a bad weekend for him, it is fair to say.
Yes. I mean, do you think... I mean, it's interesting. Perry and I were just chatting about it as that news came in, and a little bit of player power, shades of what's gone on at Liverpool. I don't know. I mean, what's the situation as far as you can see? Because you think that could be true? Marca's normally a bit of a mouthpiece for the club, aren't they?
It is, and all I would say is Real Madrid is very important to Liverpool. It's very different to Liverpool. It's very different to any club, and I suppose that's been one of the major problems for Xabi Alonso so far. I mean, he kind of started on the back foot. He started earlier than he wanted with the Club World Cup. He wanted to come to it fresh this season, and they sort of kind of persuaded him to come in early. But look, I think the difficult thing is he's coach, even though he knows what Real Madrid's like and he's gone in with his eyes open, he's someone who firmly believes in meritocracy, and he'll pick the best team that he feels is the best team for every game. And you just can't do things like that at Real Madrid, really. You're battling against guys who are not just superstars, but as Danny Kelly was saying on Trans Europe Express last night, they're not just stars, they're brands. Yeah. With whole teams of PR and marketing and management around them. And that makes everything... You can see him getting exasperated by it, and you can see him getting exasperated by it for a number of weeks now. When Vinicius threw his strop when he came off in El Clasico, which I suppose is the thing you could compare to the Salah situation, although he did actually start the game, he did actually play in it, and they were actually trying to hold on to a lead. And afterwards, when he was sort of called into line, he apologised to everyone apart from Xabi Alonso, as if he was making a point to not apologise to him. So, look, I think whether Alonso lasts the season, regardless of the week against Manchester City to come, I think there's a big question mark. Obviously not helped by the defeat yesterday last night to Celta Vigo, which leaves them 4 points off the top. They've had a really bad weekend of it. Also, the fact that there's an injury to Eder Militao, which means he's going to be out for 3 or 4 months. Both left backs managed to get sent off, so they're going to need to rush back Eduardo Camavinga and probably play him there. They're going to hope that David Alaba's fit. They're going to hope that Dean Huyson gets fit again, and of course Trent Alexander-Arnold's out for 2 months after a thigh injury he picked up in the week, and Dani Carvajal is still missing. So really, Alonso is facing a lot of the same problems as they had last season, where they just ran out of defensive numbers despite having reinforced mainly in that area. And these are things that are out of his control, and he's doing it while trying to change the culture, which is almost impossible.
Zinedine Zidane and Jurgen Klopp lead the betting to potentially replace him. I mean,
it won't be Klopp.
No, he's not looking for a job currently, is he?
He's semi-retired. He's doing adverts and everything, don't you?
Exactly. I would love to quit my cushy little number at Red Bull to go into that madhouse. Yeah. I mean, come on. I think Zidane's the obvious one, isn't he? If we're talking about a caretaker, he's really twiddling his thumbs until we know that he's going to take over France after the World Cup when Didier Deschamps leaves.
Is it a split dressing room,
and or is it just a couple of players? Because there's been reports in the media that it's been that there are players that are with Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's clear that the ones who feel that they're not getting the most out of it, Vinicius being one of them. But I mean, look, the situation with Alonso is not just down to him. It's really a situation with the club, and Alonso's being thrown under the bus for it, really, Perry, because I think, you know, you look at the fact that they've been negotiating a new contract for ages, not got anywhere near agreement in that time. And the fact is, since Kylian Mbappe's come in, he's not the main guy anymore.
Yeah. In Germany, Harry Kane became the 14th player to score a Bundesliga hat-trick after coming on as sub. I mean, his numbers are ridiculous, aren't they, in the Bundesliga?
They are, but I mean, what a horrible thing for Stuttgart, who are one of the better teams in the division. You know, you're doing okay versus Bayern. You're only 1-0 down. You're thinking of a way to launch yourself back into the game, and Harry Kane comes off the bench. It's not ideal, is it? I mean, you look at some of those players who've scored previously scored Bundesliga hat-tricks after coming on as substitute. The key one, of course, Robert Lewandowski, left out by Pep Guardiola for a game against Wolfsburg. They were 1-0 down at half-time. He brings him on and he scores 5 goals in about 15 minutes, which was remarkable. It's one of those ones where Guardiola was like wringing his own face because he couldn't believe it. You know, we know what a football obsessive he is. Other ones include Miroslav Klose. He's one of them as well. So some interesting names in there. But funnily enough, even though Kane got the goals, it's all about Michael Olise at the moment. We talked about him last week. He is walking on water at the moment. And if there's one thing after the World Cup draw that makes me believe in France as one of the absolute favourites, and of course they are one of those top 4 seeds that have been kept apart along with England, Argentina and Spain, it's Olise. He is the player they were missing, really, to unlock the door, to pull the strings, and he's so good at the moment.
Højlund got a couple of goals, didn't he, at the weekend? I mean, it must be a dagger at the heart for Manchester United fans. You did always feel that there was a player there, just not at Manchester United, so he's another one who's gone to Italy and has hit the ground running.
Well, as you say, Paul, it's not the first time it's happened to them. I imagine it stops hurting after a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd not scored for a couple of months in the league, but he'd been playing well. That has to be underlined. He'd been playing really well. And they really needed him to come off because they've missed Romelu Lukaku. He got injured in pre-season, of course, and he's not played yet this season. And they've really recovered in the last couple of weeks since their last fallout with Antonio Conte. Conte basically worked from home for a week in Turin. And that seems to have sorted everything out. You know, if he'd have realised in previous jobs, maybe the players need a week off from me. Maybe those previous jobs would have lasted longer. But yeah, great work from Højlund. And really, he's done really well out of their current injury crisis because the fact they played with him, David Neres and Noah Lang, who massively fell out with Conte early on, blabbed to the Dutch press about how Conte doesn't really speak to him.
Yeah.
Since those 3 have come in, they've played brilliantly together, and it's kind of been forced on him because of the injury situation.
Yeah.
And turning in Serie A, Cesc Fabregas is now being told that he's the Spanish Ange because he's gone a little bit Ange after Como got beat 4-0 by Inter.
Yeah, just a quickie on that, and we're nearly out of time. But yeah, what's going on with Cesc Fabregas?
Well, you know what? They went into the weekend with the opposite of that, with the joint best defensive record in Serie A. So you think they're going to make it tough for Inter, but Inter have got the best squad in the league and they hammered them 4-0. Bit of a lesson for him.
Good stuff, Andy. Thanks ever so much.
Thanks, you guys.
Is Andy?
Trans-Europe Express with Andy Brassel and Danny Kelly and the gang is available now as a podcast if you missed it last night. It's a great show, real deep diving into the world of European and world football. And as we said, if you missed it, you can hear the podcast. And that's available now wherever you get your podcast. Darren Goff's popping in to see us. Another Ashes defeat for England over the weekend.
Seen him doing his stretches.
Yeah, I think he's off the long run. He's Sarfraz-like today, almost certainly. He's going to be coming in, giving us his take on what Ben Stokes had to say, any potential changes. We'll take your questions for Goffy. We'll try and squeeze a couple in as well. What are your thoughts so far? What would you like Goffy to tell you about the Ashes? TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH&J. Goffy's here next.
Former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan says there's an easy solution to the Salah situation. Liverpool should sell him.
It's simple. You know, you're going to turn the wheel. He's going to go at any point in the near future, whether it's in January or the summer, he's gone. Right, so what you're doing is you're treading water with this player.
We understand Arne Slot has the board's full backing after Salah claimed they have no relationship left. Despite Liverpool's poor run, Graham Souness says fans should be right behind Slot as well.
I heard a couple of muppets on talking about them sacking the manager, and they don't know what they're on about.
Inter versus Liverpool is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night, and Salah might not even make the trip. Lando Norris has thanked McLaren for making a kid's dream come true after winning Formula One's World Championship. He became the first driver to lift the trophy since 2020 after finishing third at the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Norris says the title belongs to his parents too.
This is one I get to say thank you, Mum, and thank you, Dad. They're the ones who sacrificed so much to let me be the lucky boy that I am today.
Following another limp Ashes defeat, former England batsman Mark Butcher reckons Josh Tongue could play in Adelaide next week.
But he is somebody that just takes wickets for fun, you know, and you ally that with other bowlers doing their jobs better, and he could be very dangerous. But there isn't a massive amount that England can do to switch things up.
More on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel and the following on podcast feed.
Time to turn to cricket then, just before we chat to Darren Goff, double Ashes winner Steve Harmison joined John Norman on Following On, Ashes Inquest on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel to look back on that 8-wicket defeat to Australia in the second Ashes test. And here they are discussing Brendan McCullum's comments that England were over-prepared for the second test, if anything.
Over-prepared and over-trained. How can you say that? I never played the game. I don't know what you need physically and mentally to get up to a position where you are ready to take on Australia in the Ashes in Australia. This England team were not over-prepared and over-trained. I don't even know what that means.
I mean, I'm struggling with that one as well. The over-prepared bit, you could be overthinking things. That's mentally. You could be over-analysing things and what you're trying to do. That's mentally. But the one thing that's not mentally is the physicality side of bowling, and you have to have overs under your belt.
The Following On podcast and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel are there for all the best reaction to this second test defeat and more. Goffy, I saw your tweet as well the other day on that subject, and it was quite Jim Royal from the Royal Family.
It was meant to be. I was watching it there on the sofa.
Oh, were you?
Jim Royal, it was meant to. I just missed the comma, didn't I?
Yeah.
But other than that, look, I'm probably same as every other England fan who was watching. I want England to win, right? I believe this is our best chance to beat them. I really do. We're playing against their second team. Let's be straight about this.
Yeah.
No Lyon, no Hazelwood, no Cummins. So we've got a part-time opener, an opener that's just come into the side, a 30-odd-year-old trying to make his way in Test cricket. Still don't know who's going to bat. Well, a number 5 really is a number 6 or 7, Cameron Green. They've got lots of things going on, and we've got a great chance to beat them. And all that build-up and all that talk, and really 2 tests, we are underprepared. They could come out and defend it all they want. We are underprepared. 100%.
Yeah. What should they have done? Should they have gone out there earlier, which is always difficult with the calendar, or should they have just tailored their sort of practice, their build-up, and got some more practice games in, certainly with the pink ball? Anyway.
Well, the thing is, they wanted them all to be together. So they came out in in little bits and pieces, didn't they, to New Zealand, all at different days. I think Ben Duckett came straight to Australia, or came into New Zealand last because he got married and was on honeymoon. And then they kept coming at different times, so they didn't even come together, and they were training in New Zealand. We all know, I've been in New Zealand. I lived there for 6 months playing cricket as a youngster. It's totally different to Perth. And then you go into Lilac-Hill. They've tried to defend that. You can't defend it. Having a training match at Lilac-Hill and then going to Perth with no nets at Perth, no meal practice at Perth, is an absolute criminal. It really is. And then the pink ball stuff, they've already decided they were going to go straight to Brisbane anyway. And I'm not too bothered about that side. But to come out after it and say they were over-prepared, too many nets with a pink ball, when half the team hadn't played it, well, 7 of them had not played a pink ball test, I thought was a remarkable thing. It was a real mistake on what he said, McCullum. Whether you is the way they're playing or not, right?
Yeah.
It was just the words. I was absolutely gobsmacked.
Do you think that he's just trying to take the heat off the players? I mean, because the focus.
Ben Stokes hasn't, has he?
Yeah, the focus will be on him, won't it?
Well, does it take the heat off the players? Because I think when you hear a statement like that come from someone high up, I think it sends the total opposite message. Because if you're a fan. If you're a player and you look at the fans, they create the energy for you to perform at your best. Once the fans lose faith in what you are trying to achieve, it's very hard as a player to lift yourself because you need that support, especially when you're in Australia. And I think that statement has probably hit the fans harder than it's hit people like me, ex-players, or that, we could have a joke about it, a bit of Jim Royal, whatever you want to do. But I think realistically, we all want them to win. And I still believe, and I'm going to believe until we're out of it, we can win the series. Very unlikely.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that self-belief in your own ability to win a series from here, we might as well come home now.
Sure.
We might as well come home now.
You know, so obviously Bad's ball is about risk to reward, right?
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's all risk and there's no reward whatsoever. But what about players' personal responsibility? And you're saying about the not going and playing in the at Canberra in the pink ball, game midweek in between the two tests. Can't players actually say, actually, I think I need to go and plan that game? Or even now, they're saying that they're going to play golf like for 4 or 5 days. From the outside, whether that's been decided beforehand, that don't look great. But that doesn't look great because even as a player, I'd be thinking, I need to either get in the net, so I need to, get some bowling, sort of in my legs.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to go into the third test knowing that I'd done everything that I possibly could to make sure my performance is going to be as good as it can be. Now, if you go in there and it doesn't work, you can look back at yourself and say, I give it everything I probably could on that preparation. That ain't a great look, is it? Go and play golf.
Well, it's not a great look. And the thing is, though, we're all different, right? We've been professional athletes. We're all different on what we need to make us tick. Some people need more nets, some people need less nets. But one thing I would have said, because you get a little bit of stick when you put a little statement out there again. One thing I will say is that when I played, right, even though I had lots of injuries, I know I can turn up and bowl 20 overs in each innings, right? And I can do that and stand up and be at the same pace in my third spell as I was in my first spell. That's bowling fitness. That's not me getting on a treadmill and running for an hour. Bowling and being in the arena and bowling at full pelt all day
with the adrenaline going
is hard work.
Yeah.
Is hard work. And I don't think, and this is not having a dig at Jofra Archer as a player, because he's a diamond cricketer. He's a diamond. We need him to be at his best. I don't think Australia get him to the third spell and he was out of there.
Yeah.
Yes, he had a bit of a break and then he come back and bowled speed of light yesterday, but it's too late. As a lot of people said, it's too late.
Steve Smith had reminded him of that, didn't he? I mean, he was sledging.
Too right. That's the sort of sledge you get. That all these other sledges you read, they're just all made up. I mean, they're just for comedy value, right? Yeah. But those are the sort of stuff you get. That's cricket. That's being in the heart of it. And I don't think we've got that. I don't think Mark Wood could bowl 20 overs in innings. 100%, can't do it. Jofra, I don't think Jofra can do it, both innings. Atkinson could. I think we've seen that, but he's played a lot more cricket than some of our other guys, and Cass probably until his toe goes again, because he has this constant reoccurring toe injuries. So it could be interesting. The golf trip, If they would have played a few practice warm-up games, I think it's the right time to go and do it.
Yeah.
Actually go and get away from cricket and do something. It would have been perfect timing.
Reset
But
psychologically.
we had 10 days off after the first test.
Yeah.
What were we doing in that period? Yeah. We had 10 days off. And now going on this, if they're not going to net now, which don't look as though they are, it's got to be a psychological reset and chat about the way they've played and what can we do different as a team. Because the two non-like Bazball players in this whole team are Stokes and Root. And guess what? Those two are the best players.
Well, we had a little period, didn't we, when we... I mean, the Aussies aren't doing anything special.
They're there for the taking, mate.
Yeah, and they're playing the situation, they're playing the conditions, they're just...
Brains.
Exactly, and we saw a little period with Stokes and Jacks where they did exactly that. And then, of course, the whole thing falls apart when one of them gets out. But that's the frustration, isn't it? That we see in little pockets, and you say in the performance of Joe Root, it was a really good, balanced innings, that he did all the right things, didn't throw his wicket away.
Exactly, learnt from his mistakes and tried to be a little bit watchful early on, Joe Root, and then he does what Joe Root does. Good players, great players, when they get in, they cash in. Vaughan did it in Australia. When he went there, he realised what you had to do, get past that new ball, and when he got past it, he made sure to get a big one. Alistair Cook did it. Andrew Strauss did it. Joe Root's now doing it. Great players do that. Australia players of Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh, Ricky Ponting, Michael Slater, Langer, Aiden. When they get in, Warner, when they get in Australia, they get big scores and bat you out of the game. If Australia go to Adelaide and it's a good pitch and bat first and get past the new ball, I expect them to score 450, 500 against our bowling attack. I really do. And that's the frightening thing. One of our players has to step up, and we are good enough. I look at it, and on paper, you put the two teams side by side, on paper, not what's up here. You put them on paper at the minute, without Cummins and Hazelwood and Lyon in the side, that last test, we're a better team.
Yeah.
It's nuts. To even say it, and we're 2-0 down. It's nuts.
Darren Goff is with us. We're going to chat a little bit about the comments of Ben Stokes after the game. He's probably the strongest he's been. He's normally uber supportive of all the players and the way they play, but maybe not so much this time. No country for weak men is what he was effectively saying. So we wonder who those weak men are and the boys that might find themselves out of that third test. But more from Darren Goff in a moment. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Toolstation.
we are almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship.
To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
They've lost, and they've lost big time, and they've lost in a manner which was really symbolic of the performance at the Gabba over the last 3.5 days, with Steve Smith rocking back and smashing Gus Atkinson into the stands for a 6. I mean, where do you start with one of the worst performances, even for England, even at the Gabatoir? This is right down there. It's been appalling. England have been distinctly second best in all facets of the game, and I'll throw in captaincy there as well. Australia have run out deserved victors, 8 wicket winners, and now unfortunately England have got a 10-day break with a 4-day golfing trip before they come back and try and do it all over again at Adelaide in the 3rd test, but they're going to do so 2-0 down.
That's John Norman, our cricket correspondent, at the end of play after the defeat in that second Ashes test. And yeah, we dropped lots of catches. We didn't bowl particularly well. We batted brainlessly in a lot of areas. So where do you start? Darren Goff is with us, former England bowler.
Did we do anything?
I was going to say Joe Root was there.
Joe Root were magnificent,
was the highlight.
and Stokes showed the fight.
Yeah.
You expect from Ben Stokes. I mean, he's just just a great.
We're going to come on to who's under pressure, and I think we all agree that Ben Stokes is. I mean, in certain areas, but as a player and going forward, he isn't. Maybe that's not true of the coach. But Ben Stokes himself said afterwards that his dressing room is no place for weak men. He wasn't happy with what he saw. I mean, are they likely to make changes, and what changes can they make for the 3rd test?
Well, the problem he's got, guys, he sent Bashir off to play for the Lions and Bethel. Bethel got the Lions lost as well, by the way.
Yeah,
we got battered by Australia by an innings and something, didn't we? So even our B team got battered. But Bashir got none for 100. In the game, and he's already talked him. He said the only reason Jackson's playing because it's a pink ball test and we'll hardly need the spinner, so he's going to play. But he said, if it's his best spinner is Bashir. He got none for 100 in this game, and Bethel got 70, didn't he, in one of the innings. So where does he go from here? He either makes that change at 3, but I don't think I would. They've got to give him. They've got to give him the best chance possible here now, and Pope's still averaging pretty high. His average in Test cricket. 3 tests. These have got to take responsibility for the way they're playing. Crawley, Duckett, and Pope have got to play like they can play, and one of them's got to get 100. Simple as that. We can't keep relying on the same man to get us out of jail. They might spice it up with a bowling. I think Tong's going to come in. I think Atkinson will stay in. I think he was good, but Carter's been good as well. As long as Carter's fit now, he's played 2 games, bowled a lot of overs. They might rest him for Adelaide, but Adelaide's like it used to be, it tends to skid on a little bit. It's not as bouncy as the other 2, and it's, let's say, it's whether they play Archer again. They have to, really, because if we don't win the test, it's all over. There's no point playing him after that.
Exactly.
If we've lost the series.
Do you think there's a little bit of the players hiding behind the philosophy as well? Because like they talk about in football, game intelligence and match intelligence and actually managing situations. I just go back to the first test, England's second innings. We were 65 for 2, which is effectively 105 for 2.
Yep.
Right. So I know it's baseball, but don't you just manage that situation and go, what we're going to do is
the
2
Aussies
batsmen
have done.
Just go. What we do, we'll bat for 10 overs and make sure nobody gets out. just cricket intelligence. Don't you think they're hiding behind?
Absolutely. Of course, there's no accountability because you've seen the batting coach, Marcus Trescothick, a very good player, intelligent, and he wasn't like that as a player at all. He didn't come out. He was very watchful with the new ball and then scored quickly, you know? Same as the Aussies have done. Very watchful. The only baseball player within that side, really, was that Cameron Green innings. What was that about? I mean, even with I'm even questioning one of the Aussies, the way he played. That was a pathetic dismissal. I'm number 5 Test player backing away and leaving his stumps out. I mean, I could have bowled him out now at 55. When you back that far away, you just bowl at the stumps and full. He's going to miss it. So there's got to be some responsibility. You get told when you go to Australia, look, driving, be careful when you first come to the crease. It's a bit bouncy with the new ball. Once you get past the new ball, it becomes a lot easier. We're losing too many wickets against the new ball. Stark's bowling wide. It's not like they're great deliveries. They're pitching on off stumps, staying on that line. After play, we're going at balls hard and nicking off. Ben Duckett's another one who's a good player, a good player, so much talent. But it's a little bit of an ego thing, is it? I don't leave balls. I don't want to leave. Look at my record. I've scored strike rate of 80%, 90%. I don't leave balls. And it's getting him in trouble. So you have to adapt to whichever country you go to play cricket. And if we don't adapt and we keep trying to do idiotic things, we're going to be 3-0 down. But I'll say it again. I still have belief in a lot of these players are good players. If they just rein it in a little bit, I don't want us to go back to the 90s Test cricket or blocking it. You know, I love watching a little bit of the cricket we play, but you've got to use...
He's picking his moment.
2 inches.
Do you sense from what Ben Stokes has said that's going to be the message? They say, look at the way he batted, look at the way Root batted, and say, look, there is a balance. Play the conditions, play the moment, play the situation, and don't just always just kind of, as Perry said, hide behind the philosophy.
OK, but then when you've got, and I agree, but when you've got Harry Brook, who's got so much talent, and I've known him from my time at Yorkshire, obviously, I promise you, mate, it's off scale.
Yeah.
The talent is off scale. When he hits a cricket ball, it stays it. And some point in this series, if he plays all 5 tests, he'll get 150 off in no time, 120 balls. That's what he does. But he's that good, we're going to be critical of him because if he can just rein it in a little bit. But I'm thinking, well, if Marcus Trescothick can't tell him, Joe Root, who's close to him, obviously they've batted together at Yorkshire many times when I was there and stuff like that, and Michael Vaughan, who knows him really well as well, if he's not listening to them, who's he going to listen to? He's just going to keep playing his own way. But again, next test, would it surprise me if he went out in the first innings and played like that and scored 150? No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. But that's just going to encourage him to keep doing that, you know?
Yeah, of course.
If he wins one test... Didn't Baz come out once and say about Crawley? Oh, well, if he wins us one test in 4 by playing that way, I'm happy.
It's worth the risk.
It's worth the risk. But the problem is, if you ain't got other guys in the team winning the games, and you all play like that, we're going to be 3-1 down. We're going to be 3-0 down.
What have you made of Crawley so far? What do you make of him in this test?
I thought he actually, under the pressure he was under, after 2 knots and 10 days off, and not going and playing in a pink ball game, I thought he actually played really nicely. Right, it could have been different. I think he did nick it, didn't he? So it could have been totally different, and actually could have had 2 low scores again. But some of the shots he played is what we all know he can do. I've worked with him. Remember, I was a consultant for England in New Zealand started this journey under Silverwood about 5 just before McCullum come in.
Yeah,
because Silver's got the boot, didn't he? After that series,
yeah.
So I saw Crawley there, and the talent again is there, but he keeps doing what the management are encouraging him to do.
Yeah.
Is score quickly, want to get after the bowlers, and every so often he will come off. And we'll all say what a great player he is.
So if this is finally Goff, if this is 5-0 or, you know, we win a dead rubber at the SCG and it's 4-1, can Brendan McCullum survive this? Because as Perry said, it's it's Bazball. It's his trademark. It's got his name on it.
Yeah, I think realistically, knowing Brendan McCullum, the player he was, and I don't think he'll wait. If his philosophy doesn't work and we lose this series horrendously like we have done the last 2 there, I think he'll just leave anyway. I think he'll leave and he'll go coaching franchise cricket or do something like that, you know. He loves his horse racing. I don't think he needs it. If the team are not going to go forward with this philosophy, which I think there'll be I mean, can you imagine if we do lose it 4 or 5-0? I mean, it's going to be, blinkers will be on, won't they? And,
yeah.
But Ben Stokes, no matter what, is the best man to lead England. Look at the fight, look at the spirit. I like what he brings to the team. It's no nonsense management, but he's just somehow got to get hold of a couple of players who just need a little bit of talking to and just say, look, the talent's there and I'm going to back you publicly. But this is the first time we've seen a little bit where he's come out and had a go at some of his players.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to reassess their game and make it clear in meetings what do they want from them, because I think they've had a bit of a free ride for the last few years the way they're playing, but I think this is the first time they've come up against a test where they've actually got to think about how they're playing.
It'll be interesting next 9-10 days. Adelaide Oval on the 17th, Wednesday week, the third test. Goffy, good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Goffy.
Enjoyed it. Really interesting chat. It's Darren Goff there, and as we said, don't forget following on podcast and all the Ashes fallout with John Norman and Steve Harmison and the gang, wherever you get your podcasts, and the cricket YouTube channel. It's Paul Hawksbee, Perry Groves here on talkSPORT. Russ Bray popping in to see us from the world of darts. He's going to be calling our talkSPORT tournament on Wednesday. And, of course, we'll look ahead to the Worlds. And if you're looking to go to the World Cup to watch England or Scotland, we're going to have a travel expert over in the States can hopefully make the trip a little bit cheaper for you than it looks like it's going to be. Plus a bit of F1. That's all to come in the final hour. We're going to talk a bit of Wolves, Manchester United in the final hour of the show. Dazzling Dave from the Always Wolves Fan TV tells us whether he's seen the green shoots of recovery under Rob Edwards the early days ahead of the game tonight live on talkSPORT. That's after the sports headlines with Toby Gillis.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. There'll be no Mo Salah on the plane to Milan for the Champions League clash with Inter live on talkSPORT tomorrow. But will he be sold by Liverpool come January? We'll hear from Arne Slot later today. From an ownership point of view, Simon Jordan says there's only one option here.
The best thing Liverpool can do is get rid while there's still some money attached to him. Because ultimately, it's similar to the Ronaldo situation where we engineered an outcome, but the Ronaldo Tribute Act that passed as a player that turned up at Man Utd is not the same as Salah. There's still some economic value in Salah. So if I'm Liverpool, I'm looking at this going, OK, we are where we are. Let's sell him.
And for fans calling for the manager to go, not Salah, a message from Graham Souness.
I look at the 3 goals he conceded against Leeds, all avoidable. They're not, they're not defensive situations like their life depends on it.
Now a 6-month suspended jail sentence for Joey Barton today over those grossly offensive tweets he posted about female football pundits Eni Aluko and Lucy Ward, as well as Jeremy Vine. If the ex-England cap re-offends in the next 18 months, he'll be behind bars. Sheffield Wednesday fans must wait to discover who'll be taking the club over. Administrators have delayed announcing a preferred bidder, with a number of interested parties yet to submit their final offer. And as Lando Norris got a debt to pay to his older brother for his Formula One world title. He was karting from the age of 7. That's a year before you're allowed to race in the sport. His coach all that time ago, Rob Dodds, joined talkSPORT earlier.
I also looked after his older brother, Oliver, who was a couple of years older, so there was a bit of a sibling rivalry, if you like. So by the time Lando was ready to race at 8 years' age, he was on the pace straight away.
Remember, Wolves against Manchester United in the Premier League is live and exclusive on talkSPORT tonight.
talkSPORT News.
We're at a critical stage in the push for peace in Ukraine, so says Sir Keir Starmer, and the Tories want the grooming gang inquiry to examine ethnicity. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This winter, treat yourself to the Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 20,000 tyre mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Showers in Northern Ireland and Scotland drying up, sunny spells in the north of England and Wales, cloudier and wet at times elsewhere.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves here on talkSPORT. We're going to be joined by a travel expert over in the States that will try and make a World Cup trip a little bit more, a bit less expensive for you, because it looks like it's going to cost a few quid, what the ticket prices and hotels and everything in the States. But he has a few hacks, which he'll be telling us more about later. And Russ Bray is going to join us from the world of darts, one of the most distinctive voices in sport. He's going to be calling our darts tournament on Wednesday, which we're bringing you during this show, and looking into the World Championships. But before that, we're going to have our bet builder with our friends at Paddy Power. We bring you the game between Wolves and Manchester United tonight on talkSPORT. And Fern Buckley joins us as we look ahead to that game at Molineux. Hi, Fern.
Hi, guys. I'll be so excited to get it right today. We've got to.
we were close the other day. We were one leg out, weren't we? I think we just...
I know.
It's going to be hard. You never... I mean... Anyway, I will come on to that. Just briefly explain how the bet builder works, Fern.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all made a picks of bets across different markets, added them together to get some overall value. Paddy Power have then put a £10 bet down, hoping we get it right. Because when we do, all the money goes to the Attitude Foundation.
Now, I've gone both teams to score, and I got a bit of a Roger Moore eyebrow from Perry when I said that, because the signs are that, there's a pretty good chance Wolves won't. And I see they've got a few key injuries as well, but I don't know. And maybe a night under the lights at Molineux. Rob Edwards had a few more days with the team. Maybe you can coax a performance out of them. So what are the odds on that?
Yeah, it is an interesting one, considering they have failed to score in their last 5 Premier League matches, thanks to this, Paul. But United
those researchers.
You've got to believe.
Trust them.
You've got to believe, haven't you, if you're a Wolves fan? What's the point of going?
What about Wolves to have a shot?
Oh, no, don't be like that.
Don't worry, no, we're going to get there because it's not all negativity, I promise. But because I was going to say, United's away defensive record isn't wonderful because they've conceded in 12 consecutive away league games. So it could end up in both teams scoring, and that's in at 13-20.
You've gone for the.
I've gone for Cunha to
boy
score and to take his shirt off and whirl it round his head.
Do you think he'll do the?
Yeah,
he won't do the hands. I don't want to celebrate. No,
I don't think he's that sort of character. I was going to go with Buemo because he's got a brilliant record against Wolves, but I just think it's made up for Cunha.
Yeah, the curse of the X and all that. Yeah.
This is it, get on against his former team. He did score and assist in this exact fixture for Wolves last season, so he's known to score in this game. He is a super sub as well, so if for any reason he comes off, Paddy Power will protect your bet. So for him to score any time, that's in at 6-4.
He's gone straight from a corner, didn't he, against them once? I remember that, yeah. Anyway, our producer, he has gone for the Manchester United winners, Sean.
I'm really sorry, Wolves fan. We really don't mean to be dumping on you this afternoon, but Wolves have gone 8 Premier League home matches without a win. United are unbeaten in 4 away matches. Within that was Liverpool and Crystal Palace. So, yeah, that meme that's going around about Wolves, less points than a triangle, 2 at the bottom of the table. A lot of people thinking United are going to win. It's the most popular pick as well, 60,000 people. That is in at 4-7.
It's this time of year where they start talking about the Derby record. You start seeing features about are they going to match the Derby record?
Do you know what? If there was one game that you could change your formation, if you're Ruben Amorim, it'll be this one. Yeah. He ain't. He's still going to play. He's still playing through centre halves.
Go for it. Brian and Bumo to have 1+ shots on target. Say the Paddy Power punters.
Yeah, the second most popular pick other than United winning. 30,000 people have this in their bet builder this afternoon, and he's had at least 1 shot on target in his last 8 consecutive games. So that would be why that is in at 4-11. He's another super sub as well.
And you've gone for Bruno Fernandes, the score or assist any time, which feels quite likely.
Yeah, I feel like we needed a bit of backup. We need to get this bet builder winning, and he's another super sub. He's provided 5 assists in United's last 4 away matches, so why not get that in there? It's a popular one as well, and it's an 8-11.
I'm just hoping both teams to score isn't the thing that lets us down.
Come on, Paul.
Don't doubt yourself.
Come on, Rob.
Come on, Bazball.
Come on, boys.
This is Hawksball. Come on, Hawksball. Keep going.
So what odds are we looking at then across the whole thing, firm?
Yeah, quite nice. All comes in at 7-1. So from a £10 bet, you could get a return of £80 tonight. And if we get it right, of course, all that winning and the money goes to the Attitude Foundation, who do great work with the LGBT community.
Fantastic. Despite our lack of help as well financially, they still manage to do great work.
They
God bless them.
power on through.
Yeah. Thank you, Fern. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Fern.
There we are, Fern Buckley there with Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18+. BeGamblerWare.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGamblerWare.org.
Now, I watched the F1 yesterday.
Yep, I was watching it as well.
I don't always watch a full race. I often come to it later, but there was so much riding on it yesterday. It wasn't the most exciting. We had this... Early on, we wondered whether there could be ramifications for Lando Norris, which we'll hear more about in a moment. But beyond that, he always seemed to be in control. Joining us now, as he has throughout the season, is Formula One journalist from motorsport.com. It's James Allen. Hi, James.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Perry.
Hi, James.
Was it ever in doubt? And what you can maybe explain what this sort of incident quite early on in the race where they felt that it could have been an issue for Lando Norris.
Yeah, it's like a tight VAR call, isn't it? You know, you get these things in the judges. It was a difficult situation. Was it ever in doubt? Yes, because it's Formula One. Anything can happen, especially at the start. I think there was quite a high degree of jeopardy for Norris off the start line with Verstappen in front of him and his teammate Piastri behind him and George Russell as well, Leclerc coming through strongly. But he managed to weather that initial first few corners. His teammate got in front of him, which I think was planned. I think that made sense because they'd split the strategies. Complicated story, but basically it stopped Red Bull playing any funny games on them during the race. So that was clever by McLaren. And then, so Lando made his pit stop and it required him to come through and pass a few cars and not lose too much time in doing it. He made a brilliant very brave double overtake on Stroll and Lawson, took them both into the same corner, which doesn't happen every day. But the difficult one was the Tsunoda pass. So he's Max Verstappen's teammate. He's been absolutely nowhere this season, completely uncompetitive. But the one job he could have done for the team was to sort of hold Norris up a bit. So that was the challenge. And Norris knew that would be the game. We'd seen it a couple of years ago with Verstappen's teammate then, Sergio Perez, who held up Lewis Hamilton in a big way to try and help Max Verstappen. So it has been done before by Red Bull. And what happened was Tsunoda weaved across the road 2 or 3 times, which you're not allowed to do, came across to the left, but Norris just had his foot planted. He's like, it's my way or the highway. And he actually went just off the racetrack. Now, normally, if you do that in Formula One, you get a 5-second penalty for, or in fact, what you do is you have to give the place back. But the stewards looked at it very closely and decided the reason that Norris had gone off the track was because Tsunoda had forced him off. So it was Tsunoda that got the penalty. Lando got away with it. As I say, it's like a tight VAR call in a sort of the final minutes of a final. And from that point on, Lando was untroubled. It was amazing. The emotion afterwards was something else. I had a moment with him just before the press conference, just to sort of congratulate him. I've known him since he was a kid, and it's just fantastic for him. It's proof, Paul, that nice guys can win sometimes.
That was the sense of it. Just very. I mean, all of them, all the drivers coming up to him, and a few drivers have said that he's clearly that's not always the case. And somebody has actually said you don't have to be a piece of work. You don't have to be nasty to make it to world champion.
No, but it helps.
Yeah.
As we've seen many times throughout the years, they've all got a steely side to them. And of course, Norris does too, as he demonstrated with the passes that he made. But no, I think, and it was very interesting afterwards, you know, he had that moment of reflection that you do when the world champion comes in. And he just talked. I mean, he talked for like 20 minutes. And it was just amazing to hear him. And what's interesting about Norris is he's really out front with his own shortcomings and his own failings. He's more self-critical than any driver I think I've ever met. And some people think that's a problem. You know, he's too sort of open. It's one of the things that really endears him to the fans. I think he's right up the top of the tree as a fan favourite. He's the most popular driver amongst the female fan base, which is now 42% of F1's fans. So, and I think they like that sort of openness about him. But and it was just amazing to hear him talk, and the emotion, and when he hugged his mum and his dad on the finish line at the end. It was just it was really something.
Do you know, he said himself, didn't he, that he might have to get more aggressive and get off the brakes and have a few people over going forward. But for him, I was watching it, and from like 10 laps to go, I think Charles Leclerc was 4 seconds behind in fourth place. There's very few times in your sporting career that you can actually enjoy the moment. And I think with him, with those like last 10 laps, he could actually enjoy. He'd been unbelievably nervous beforehand, because I don't believe any sports person who says they're not nervous before big occasion. I don't believe them, because that gets your adrenaline going. But he could actually probably enjoy that, couldn't he? Those last sort of 10,
I suppose you can always get a blowout.
Or puncher.
Anything can happen, can't it?
Well, look at, I don't know, some of you might remember Nigel Mansell in 1986. He was on his way to the World Championship, and he had the massive tyre failure in Adelaide down the straight. If you've not seen that, check it out on YouTube. It's an incredible. Imagine that with Murray Walker commentating, and he was closing in on his first World Championship, and his tyre blew up. So it does happen. I mean, anything can happen. And Norris was saying, actually, Perry, that in the last he was fine. He had the whole thing under control. He was in a rhythm. But then the last few laps, he was just hoping, he was keeping away from the curbs and just not wanting to do anything that might loosen off a bolt or cut a tyre or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, McLaren have had a fantastic car, a fantastic team. They've got this obsession with trying to be, fair between the drivers, which almost cost them, and it allowed Verstappen to get right back in it. He came from 104 points behind to miss out on the title by 2 points. Wow. It's just an amazing recovery. At the end of the day, though, Norris has beaten probably one of the very best drivers of all time, to win his first World Championship. And that is a massive achievement.
It's been good to talk to you through the season, James. We'll catch up with you next season. Thanks very much.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks,
nice
James.
to see you, boys.
That's James Allen there from motorsport.com, Formula One journalist. So if you want to go to the World Cup and you're thinking, blimey, it looks a bit pricey, Graham McKenzie is a travel expert based over in the States, going to join us next. We'll have a bit of a focus on England and Scotland, because we're working on the basis that most of the fans listening will want to go and support one of those countries before the playoffs. So we hopefully got a few more home nations and the Republic involved. But anyway, Graham gives us a little bit of advice, maybe a few travel hacks for the World Cup in a few moments' time. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw review. Brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. Score a great offer to your Sprinter 906 right now. Get a fixed price for the Mercedes-Benz Service B. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, it is time now for our review of last week's FIFA World Cup Draw 2026, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. And, well, we now know who we're playing and where we're playing and when we're playing from England and Scotland's point of view. As we said, hopefully some other home nations and Ireland joining the party as well via the playoffs. And it's going to be an expensive World Cup. We've been hearing that. We spoke to a Scotland fan who's booked 22 hotel rooms. He can cancel them, but he booked 22 hotel rooms to cover the bases.
Is that on Booking.com? Is it pay at the property?
I think
travel agents.
I think it was
hotel
one of those.
booking companies are available.
Yeah.
But
I think he just to hedge his bets, and he wanted East Coast, and he's got it because they're in Boston for a couple of games, then in Miami, which I think was his dream. England, they're going to be getting around a bit. They're going to be in Dallas, then they'll be in Boston, and then they'll be in New Jersey. And we were looking for a few hacks, hopefully, to make it a bit more cost effective if you are looking to go over. Graham McKenzie is a travel expert based over in the States, and he joins us now. Hi, Graham.
Hiya, how you
Hi,
doing?
Graham.
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I imagine the hotel rooms, I mean, as soon as the draw was concluded, there was a massive spike in all the hotel prices.
Yeah, I mean, most hotels, hotel groups will use a thing called dynamic pricing, which means the bigger the demand, the higher the price. So it's, push and demand, the prices will go up. And in fact, that's what FIFA are doing with some of the World Cup tickets. They're using dynamic pricing as well, which makes it even more expensive. And I had a quick look this morning that, for example, in Dallas, where England's first game, a Holiday Inn Express, which is not the height of luxury, but it's functional. That's about $500 a night in Dallas if you want to go down there. So you're absolutely right. The chap from Scotland, World Cup 2026 will be an expensive affair.
If you're in, say, the games are in Dallas, I mean, and often a lot of these stadiums are on the outskirts of the city, and ideally you'd want to be in the city for the nightlife and everything, but are there options, Graham? I mean, can you be out of town, not a million miles from the stadium, but maybe not in the centre of Dallas and get a bit more value for money?
Absolutely. I mean, I would recommend anybody to look at a driving distance away. I mean, in the States, as I'm sure you know, there's not that much public transport, not that many trains, although they're actually coming back into fashion. So, for example, if I was a Scotland supporter after the Boston games, I would fly down to, say, Orlando or Kissimmee and then get the train to Miami rather than flying to Miami. The prices in Miami are horrendous at best of times, let alone during a World Cup. But absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head. Have a look at places nearby. So, for example, Boston, there's lots of coastal resorts, Plymouth, Newport, Rhode Island, and they're all commutable back into Boston. The only problem with Scotland they've got 9 o'clock kickoff, so you'll be driving back to your gaff a little bit late at night, or you just take the hit for one night. For England fans, it might be better to base yourself in the middle of the country and then commute via either by car, but long drives, or by, regular. Base yourself at a hub airport, so somewhere like Cincinnati or Columbus in Ohio, or even Nashville in Tennessee, where you can get to most of those games, and their rooms will be cheaper, and they'll still have fan zones to watch the games. So there are options, yes.
So do you think, Graham, obviously the car hire companies are going to do the same thing? Because you're talking about exactly, you're staying obviously out of Boston or New Jersey or Dallas, whatever. So they're going to do their dynamic pricing as well.
The thing is, there are so many car hire companies in the States, across the States, because you said the lack of public transport. Maybe there's just a bit more competition, Graham. I don't know.
Well, I think there is an awful lot of competition, but the official car rental sponsor for the World Cup is Hertz. And I know that for a fact that Hertz are going to be doing special offers, and they'll be bringing out news about that within the next 6 weeks. But they'll all be doing, as you quite rightly say, they'll all be doing gigs. But I think the advice I would give to anybody, and the Scottish lad is obviously a bit ahead of the game, but do it early. Whatever you do, you've got to do it as early as possible. So booking rooms, booking flights. Flights have already gone up. Flight to Dallas on June the 15th, which I think is the day before, one way, over $1,000 now on British Airways. So, the earlier you do it, the better. And then look for a commutable distance away from the centre. And as you say, you might want the nightlife and everything else, but at what expense? Because it's not just all of that. We haven't even spoken about ticket pricing yet. No. And food and drink is all pretty expensive here in the States. I mean, everywhere you go, it's normally 20% service charge.
So it hurts whichever way you're going to do it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, blimey.
It's going to be expensive, yeah. I mean, I'm coming home tonight, back to the UK tonight, and it just goes with the fact that it's going to, everybody knows it's going to be an expensive World Cup. There's no doubt of it, because of the travel, but because of the pricing.
Is there a bit of a buzz over there, Graham, would you say? You think it's now the draw's happened and the things are picking up for the national team under Poch? They've had some decent results.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's alive with FIFA 2026 World Cup. Poch has done very well. They've got a pretty good group. But yeah, I mean, everywhere you talk. I was in Kansas last week, and they've had a bad week for sport. They thought they were going to have England based in Kansas City. Kansas City Chiefs pretty much got knocked out of the NFL playoffs. But that's not a bad place for later in the tournament. Kansas City is a very good base, easy to commute to lots of places. And they will have a quarterfinal game or a last 16 game, I think, at Arrowhead Stadium. But there's a lot of buzz in Kansas, a lot of buzz in Atlanta, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Some of the bigger places like New York, less so, even though they're going to be hosting semi and final, less so. But, I would think that it basically reflects people's knowledge of soccer over here. They've got a massive soccer base, but they nearly all support Premier League side. The majority, of course, support Manchester United, as they should.
And your company, Connect FC, you're going to be doing lots of stuff around the tournament?
Yeah, well, Connect FC, I think Matt, who's one of my colleagues, and another colleague of mine called Gordon. We've been running it for about, almost 2 years now. We're already working with lots of destinations to get this type of message out, to say, why don't you come and stay here? Because it's going to be a little bit cheaper. You can have an authentic American experience. It's like a second city fan base is really where we're coming from with it. You can watch all the other games in big fan zones and get spirit, but try and minimise your expenses. That's really where we're coming from, and we're helping tourist boards and indeed transport companies to get that message out over the next 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, perhaps even longer, 2 months.
Good advice. Thank you very much, Graham. Appreciate it.
Good. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Graham.
There we are. That's Graham McKenzie, and he's from Connect FC, and the Matt in question is Matt Lorenzo, the TV presenter and a documentary maker.
Do you think they're big on youth hostels in and around the States?
You don't have to be. I mean, you can find, what it's like.
Motels.
I've driven around the States a lot, and you can find, really very cheap places. I mean, we've all seen the sort of American. We know the sorts of places, the sort of motels you drive in. They're not top quality, but they're normally allowing a bit of breakfast and have a little coffee machine in there.
Can't be a little bit of Formica.
They'll be more expensive than they normally are because you can get them dirt cheap. There's just so many places to play in the States. But I think Graham's advice is good. You might not be in the big city, but you will get a different sort of experience. And it's so easy to drive around the States generally, and you can get around. So maybe it's probably a good idea to give that some thought. So that was our review of the FIFA World Cup draw, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, celebrating 30 years of opening doors for business for the latest fixed price service offer. Search Sprinter Service B now.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw review, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. Score a great offer to your Sprinter 906 right now. Get a fixed price for the Mercedes-Benz Service B. Terms and conditions apply.
Former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan says there's an easy solution to the Salah situation. Liverpool should sell him.
It's simple. You know, you're going to turn the wheel. He's going to go at any point in the near future, whether it's in January or the summer, he's gone. Right, so what you're doing is you're treading water with this player.
We understand Arne Slot has the board's full backing after Salah claimed they have no relationship left. Despite Liverpool's poor run, Graham Souness says fans should be right behind Slot as well.
I heard a couple of muppets on talking about them sacking the manager, and they don't know what they're on about.
Inter versus Liverpool is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night, and Salah might not even make the trip. Lando Norris has thanked McLaren for making a kid's dream come true after winning Formula One's World Championship. He became the first driver to lift the trophy since 2020 after finishing third at the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Norris says the title belongs to his parents too.
This is one I get to say thank you, Mum, and thank you, Dad. They're the ones who sacrificed so much to let me be the lucky boy that I am today.
Following another limp Ashes defeat, former England batsman Mark Butcher reckons Josh Tongue could play in Adelaide next week.
But he is somebody that just takes wickets for fun, and you ally that with other bowlers doing their jobs better, and he could be very dangerous. But there isn't a massive amount that England can do to switch things up.
More on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel and the following on podcast feed.
Well, obviously we're going to talk darts, but before we do that, just to confirm that Mo Salah has not travelled to Milan for tomorrow night's Champions League game, which will bring you on talkSPORT. Liverpool, it says, interesting sort of language around this. Liverpool have removed him from the squad, and they say it's fully supported by Arne Slot. I would have thought it would be Arne Slot's decision, but maybe they're looking at disciplinary action.
That Liverpool was the whole entity, meaning the owners, the manager, the players, the backroom staff had a big meeting and gone, no, it's bad news, he ain't played. It's Arne Slot's decision.
Well,
he's
removed from selection for a short period, but as he's off to AFCON next week, we wonder what the future is. But anyway, more on that. I'm sure Danny Murphy will have stuff to say at 7 o'clock. That'll be after the press conference over in Milan, because they have set off already. But as we said, the talkSPORT Darts Trophy is back this Wednesday in partnership with QuickFit. World champion Luke Littler has pulled the names out the hat, so the draw is Dean the Storyteller Saunders, the reigning champion, versus Jermaine the Saint Pennant, Gabby the Gab Father Agbonlor versus Andy Gale Force Goldstein, Jamie the Chunk O'Hara versus Jason One Ball Cundy, B-U-L-L, Darren the Truth Bent, and Natalie the Destroyer Sawyer, who beat Benty last year. He was absolutely gutted. Join us for all the action this Wednesday from 1 o'clock and in Drive. The final will be in Drive from 4. Thanks to our friends at QuickFit. Tune in and watch the whole thing live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. And don't forget that every game from the World Darts Championship will be live and free to listen to on the talkSPORT network and YouTube channel. Your match referee calling the event is, as we said, one of the great iconic sport voices, not just of darts, but of sport. Russ Bray has joined us in the studio. Russ, lovely to see you.
Nice to see you guys as well. Lovely to have me in. Thank you.
Yes, you are. I mean, you stepped away. You kind of semi-retired last year. You're still doing events. You're just not doing the Worlds anymore. But I see you popping up. You're doing. You look like you're enjoying life, Russ.
I'm absolutely loving it. I seriously am. It's. I still do a little bit with the World Series.
Yeah.
I do the nice ones: Bahrain, New York, and Australia.
Yeah,
New Zealand.
pick your gigs.
Yeah. Well, they pick me, which is nice.
Not some cold sports centre in Bridlington. With respect to Bridlington.
Absolutely not. And also, I do the Asian tour, so I'm over in the Philippines, China, Japan, quite a bit. So. Plus filling in with lots of galas and shows elsewhere, so
fantastic.
And come and see you guys.
Yeah, it's lovely. Well, I mean, this darts tournament, you'll be shocked and stunned with how seriously some of them take it. They are what seems on the face of it a bit of fun, but I suppose quite a lot of the people involved have been professional athletes, and they get their game face on. They take it very seriously.
I've just been in the green room with Darren and
and they're playing and they're practicing.
Are they ever?
Yeah.
And like you say, if you're a sportsman, your aim is to win, and you have that mentality, whether it's fun or serious, as this would be. So, I mean, these guys will take it.
It's not fun. Once you put your foot on the hockey, it ain't fun. Honestly, but is there a safety mechanism in place for this tournament that obviously the standard of play, right? If it gets down to like double one.
Oh, we've been in the madhouse a few times.
Is there split 11s or is there like nearest the ball? Is there something? And as a referee, you're going to be thinking, "Oh, hurry up, lads."
Well, it looked like one of the frames was going to go into the sports bar last year. Frames, you know what I mean? One of the games, should I say? I've got the wrong sport. Natalie Sawyer beat Darren Bent last year. And
He'd have been devastated.
He would. And Natalie just got side his
head. A bit of Hawksbee going on.
The pressure was on him because he's a pretty decent player. But yeah, suddenly when it wasn't going his way.
Well, the thing is, when you're up on the hockey, when you're up and standing there, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You've got no team member that you can hide behind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's all going wrong, it's there for everybody to see.
I mean, you've seen that in the greats, in all of the greats over the years. When you're up there watching a game, and obviously you've got to concentrate on the role you've got, but you must sometimes think, blimey, what's happened to the power? What's happened to Eric? Because it must be, you must think these guys are great. Why are they suddenly throwing like that?
Yeah, and the main reason behind that is pressure.
Yeah.
You know, no matter who you are, Luke Littler, if he's under pressure, he can wobble.
Yeah.
Phil Taylor, when he was under pressure, wobbled. Eric, when he was under... You know, this is a natural thing in sport. And like I just said, when it's one-on-one...
Yeah,
that makes it harder. Yeah, the pressure's a lot harder, you know.
And you don't escape. You can't go... I mean, look, you're just up there on the hockey. You're watching maybe the other player playing better than you. It's tough. You've got a big crowd on your back, potentially.
As well. You know, so you're going to... I mean, it's... I'm really interested in this year's World Championships. We've got 3 girls playing, 3 ladies playing. And crowds being crowds, they're going to be behind the girls. So the fellas that are going to be playing the girls are going to be under a lot of pressure before they even start, solely because you've got...
That's Daryl Gurney has got. We spoke to Gerwyn Price the other day, and he was obviously big mates with Daryl, and he's drawn Bo Greaves, and Luke Littler said he didn't want to play because he likes to have the crowd on his side. But it's true, Daryl's they're all going to be rooting for her, aren't they?
Not off. But in all honesty, her in her own right, you know, she can beat anybody, and she can, and she has proven that with, you know, I'm not a fan of averages, I'm not, but if you want to go by the averages, you know, her averages have just been incredible.
And any sports person feeds off positivity, positive energy. When you're that energy that's in the arenas when you're playing darts, that positive energy, you get that little adrenaline rush.
That's right.
It gives you that little bit more
confidence. Gives that buzz and puts you on top of your game. And you know, she will get that. She will experience that. I was very lucky to call when Fallon Sherrock beat Ted Edwards, the very first lady to have won.
Yeah.
And you could see her confidence as in the game as it's getting more and more. All of a sudden she win a leg, win a set, so on and so forth. You know, and you just notice it getting bigger and bigger and stronger, and that will happen.
Well, I think Natalie, when she played Bentley, Frying Underarm was taking a mickey.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
All right, all right. You've got in his head.
It's actually an illegal throw, but
now we knew this was going to happen after the phenomenon that's Luke Littler over the last 2 years. We read today about Mitchell Lawrie, 15-year-old Scottish lad, fantastic player. He's become the world youth champion. I mean, another one for the future. And he won 16 grand in this tournament. He said, but it was rubbish. I went 3 sets up and couldn't hit a thing. Terrible. So he set the bar high, but a 15-year-old kid.
And this is what you're finding today. This is why it's a young man's sport now. I've noticed it with the, in inverted commas, Littler effect, which has happened over the last couple of years. The various academies, you know, a lot of the kids can't even get in them now. They're that full. I mean, my local one at me is Salah Town Football Club. When they have an academy there, they had a few kids in there. Now you can't get in there, you know, solely because of that. And these youngsters, they're hitting 9 darters, they're hitting scores, you know, hitting 180s for fun. And this is what's happening. So when you see the young lad there, the young Scottish boy there coming through in the WDF championships, goodness me, I mean, the kid's one heck of a talent, you know, and that's the future of darts. That's how it's going.
And they can see the lifestyle you can have. I mean, look at what, you know, the money that's on offer and, you know, the travelling that you've experienced as well. It's not a bad life, is it?
It's a wonderful... I mean, I was a scaffolder, you know, 30 years ago. I'm not there and I haven't done it for 30 years, but, you know...
Could you still do it? Could you still do it?
I wouldn't want to, but...
Stretches
it's
first.
a bit... A few, Gary, goodness me. You know, it's... goodness me, I was a high jumper as a kid. You know, I can't get up the curb now. You know what I mean? So, but no, I could probably still turn my hand at a spanner. But no, I mean, the life that I've led ever since I've become a referee.
Brilliant.
Going around the world has been amazing.
You know, that obviously, Mitchell Laurie, like 15 years, world youth champion, and obviously getting beaten in final. I've got to talk about Dieter Hedman because I used to play with her brother at Colchester United, Rudy Hedman. So Dieter used to come and watch Rudy play at Lower Road.
She's become the oldest woman to win the season.
Yeah, the oldest woman to win at 66 when she was playing in local pub dart leagues.
Yeah.
Because obviously women's darts wasn't that massive then. Just so how that's come on, but how she's managed to stay right at the top of the game is amazing.
Well, she's played in a Worlds, hasn't she, as well? Did she make one of the PDC Worlds or not quite?
I know she's played. I think she played in the World Match, the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I think she played in the Grand Slam. Worlds, I'm not sure.
Right.
My memory's not good at. But I've known Dieter since the early 80s, and her brother Al Hedman, was a very, very good. I won the British Open back in about 85, 86. So, and she was also my partner on Celebrity Pointless.
Oh, right.
Dieter was. So, as I said,
how did you get on, Russ?
We got the second round.
Oh,
so we done okay. We didn't go out first. But yeah, I'm really, really chuffed for her because, I mean, it's a fourth go at it. She's won everything in the ladies' game. She's won everything in the ladies' game except that one. Now she's got that one. Fair play to her.
Yeah, brilliant. Oldest female world champion. So who do you fancy for the Worlds? Where's your money going, Russ?
Goodness me. There's a good few players that are hitting form. It's what it's all about, is hitting form. It's not so much names. I mean, Littler's hitting form. I've just been working with him. Been working with Marco van Goen, who's hitting form. Gezi Price is hitting form. Then you've got to watch out for Josh Rock. You've got to watch out for the guys from Asia.
Jan van Veen, everybody's talking about the young lad who's been duking out with Luke Litley. He played in the youth tournament a couple of years ago.
He did. He just won the youth world championship against Bo. He's a fantastic talent as well. And again, they have no fear factor. That's how it seems to come across. They've got no fear factor whatsoever, and the older brigade are starting to feel it a little bit, Well,
I can confirm that Gary Anderson's not going to be touching a chainsaw.
Yeah,
He's like, stop chopping down the trees and doing your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Might give half a chance then.
Do you want to give us a quick 180 before you go, Russ?
You ready for it?
Here we go.
180.
That actually sounded like it was live at darts, didn't it?
I thought we'd get that out of the way because we're not going to hear many of those on Wednesday.
Well,
we have some ginger lemon in here, some honey as well.
Well, lovely to see you, Russ. We'll have a chat on Wednesday.
Definitely.
Last month.
Lovely. Thanks for
Russ Bray there. Now, talkSPORT have teamed up with Pitch Experiences to bring you an all-out VIP experience at the PDC World Darts Championship at Alexander Palace on December the 3rd. Hopefully, Russ has got you in the mood. You and three mates could be living it large with platinum seats, fine dining, complimentary bar, and exclusive access to the 501 Lounge, where you'll catch up with Russ. Then it's straight to your prime table for the best view in the house as the darts drama unfolds. Get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pally Christmas. Here's how to enter for your chance to win. Text darts to 83338. That's 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate. You can call 03434 217 508. Lines close 4 p.m, 18th of December. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. So for your chance to win, text darts to 83338 now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. We're here with Toolstation, and coming up very shortly, we'll look ahead to tonight in the Premier League, the final game of this round between Wolves and Manchester United.
So we are almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
We got Drive coming up. Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent back from the States, and busy show for them. They're going to have the FA Cup draw, of course. We'll keep you right in touch with that. It's going to get underway about 27 for the third round. But we've still got a game of football tonight, and that's live on talkSPORT. Adrian Durham at Molineux, Joe Shannon and Danny Murphy, who will be hoovering up all the Mo Salah fallout from the press conference with Arne Slot around that time tonight as well. Yeah, Wolves, man. I didn't know you're ex-Wolves, you were telling me, Perry. You played for the club.
Yeah, they bombed me out in... they won the League Cup in 1979. I was a schoolboy there from 14 to 16. Bombed me out. Got relegated.
Oh, do you think so? You think it was the curse of Perry Groves?
That's what it was. That'll teach them. Get rid of the ginger. You get relegated.
So, have we seen the green shoots of recovery from a Wolves point of view? It's early days for Rob Edwards. He's been talking about trying to get the boys out for a beer or something, a bite to eat and get a bit of togetherness.
Good team spirit.
Could that be enough to get them something tonight? Let's have a chat with Dazzling Dave from the Always Wolves Fan TV. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hello,
thanks
Dave.
for asking me to come on. How you doing?
Pleasure. Yeah, not so bad. Are you seeing different things? You're seeing things that are making you a bit more optimistic in these early days of Rob Edwards?
Yeah, well, I think the key point tonight is that the fans are totally backing Rob Edwards and they're totally behind the players. But of course, the fans are very unhappy with the managed decline of our club over the last 3 or 4 years, and there is a major protest that's happening for the first time in a long time in at Molineux tonight. Right. So that's sort of taken a lot of attention, and obviously we want to win the points and we want to back the players, but there's a lot of fans that are going to be staying out of the ground, out of their seats for the first 15 minutes tonight to make a point to the owners.
There's a couple of big... you've got João Gomez is missing, isn't he? He's got a one-game ban, and Manetzi's injured, so that's certainly not going to be much help, is it?
No, obviously we're going to miss João Gomez, but hopefully Krejci will be fit. He's been out for a couple of games. He's probably the best signing that we had in the summer window. He's looked really, really good. He can play in midfield. I expect that if he's fit, he will play alongside Andre in the centre of midfield.
Dave, I was going to ask you what reception Matheus Cunha was going to get, but there ain't going to be no one in the ground, is there? So it don't really matter, does it?
There'll be some. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? What sort of reception will he get? It's a very good question, actually, Perry. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, he left. He was a great player for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I don't really think the focus is going to be on Matheus Cunha tonight. I think it's going to be the focus is obviously going to be on backing our team and also sending a message to the owners that run the club that the state of affairs with the current decline and the decisions that have been made at the top are not acceptable, and that's the point that they want. If you look down the road at the likes of Birmingham City, who've got owners that have got a clear plan. Wolves came into the Premier League and we were doing fantastic, but since over the last 3 or 4 years, it's just gone backwards, and the fans have been incredibly patient. We're having a groundhog season yet again, and it's come to boiling point. A lot of fans want to make a point tonight, and that's what probably will happen. Obviously, some fans will go in the ground. Some fans won't. Everyone needs to be respected on their choice, and it should be done in a safe and peaceful way. And that's what we hope that will happen.
Good stuff. Well, Dave, when you do get in there, enjoy the game. Let's hope the boys can turn up tonight and put in a performance for you. Thanks very much.
It wouldn't surprise me if we win tonight, because that's just typical Wolves.
And it's Man United.
On the night you have the big, dazzling Dave there.
Cheers,
from
Dave.
Always Wolves Fan TV. That game live on talkSPORT. All the build-up from 7. I'm sure there'll be a reaction to the FA Cup draw about 20-7. And keeping a very close eye on that this afternoon will be Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on Drive. Get your calls into the sports bar afterwards. Perry, always lovely to see you.
Paul, pleasure all mine, mate.
You'll be
Loved
back on Sunday. You got a mouth-watering game for Sunday, haven't
Yeah, Palace against Man City.
Well, it should be a cool.
So we play Wolves on Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
So after you got beat by Villa,
4-3 second.
No disrespect to the Wolves, like fans and club, whatever, but that's a game you would pick, wasn't it? Be on the Saturday after getting beat, and then obviously Man City go to a difficult game, Palace Sunday. So all on this weekend.
All on, yeah. Loads of football for you this week. Kicking off tonight, we've got Champions League and beyond, and we'll build up to that. I'll be here with Charlie Baker tomorrow. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Coming up, back from New York and Washington, it is Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on Drive.